My farm is in the desert. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 88 Night Phantom. Some people say that the Black Night is the darkest time of the day because many shameful things happen at this time, such as murder, robbery, and attacks. In short, it is the dark night that no one sees that arouses the dark side of people's hearts and even expands this dark side. So there are many things, but it cannot be denied that there are also good sides in the Black Night. For example, most people are made at night, and some places have particularly good business at night. Night also gives people who are busy all day a chance to relax. At this time, the sky is dark. The desert night is performing the most exciting story of the day. Compared with other places, the desert at night is colorful. Animals that avoid the scorching sun during the day come out to move, and the originally dead desert becomes full of vitality. Look, there is a sand fox slowly eating a few white and tender insects. Look, there is a weasel catching prey. Not only that, but also gerbils, scorpions and other things have emerged from the ground and acted stealthily. Cai Hongming stood on the city gate tower with a night imaging device to observe the sweet potato and corn fields in the distance. He saw a large group of gerbils crawling out of their holes and happily chewing on the sweet potato fields. They were eating so happily. Cai Hongming wanted to chop them to death. Why hasn't the white jade scorpion come yet? Just as he was thinking, a rustling sound came into his ears with the wind. He quickly picked up the night imaging device and looked in the direction of the sound. He saw countless scorpions in the distance rushing towards the sweet potato fields like waves, which made his scalp numb. There were too many scorpions, densely packed, at least 100,000. He didn't expect that there were so many scorpions living on the hillside next to him. Wouldn't the entire hillside be hollowed out? Thinking that he lived next to a bunch of scorpions, Cai Hongming felt cold. It was rare for gerbils to find such a place with delicious food. So they set up camp here, hoping to survive forever, and at the end they didn't forget to notify nearby relatives and friends to come over. One person told 10 people, 10 people told 100 people, and gradually, all the gerbils in this desert knew that there was delicious food here. They all ran over, so there were so many gerbils here at Cai Hongming's place. The desert is a hard place with a lack of food. It's rare to find such a place with abundant food. How could they give up? So when Jidong tried to catch them, they began to show their fearless guerrilla spirit, digging everywhere, making it impossible for Jidong and his men to catch them. The moon was bright in the sky. It was another rare beautiful night. The gerbils in the gerbil family called each other and ran out to have dinner again. A group of gerbils were eating happily and suddenly heard a rustling sound in the distance. They turned around and saw a group of scorpions crawling towards them in the distance. The first one was particularly large. The gerbils were so scared that their hair stood up and they turned around and ran away, only wishing that their parents had not given them two less legs. The gerbils that ran fast were considered to have escaped. The gerbils that ran slowly and did not react were all drowned in the tide of scorpions. They ended up with no bones left. From then on, this place became a taboo for the gerbil family, and no gerbil dared to come and steal food. After the white jade scorpion drove the gerbil out of the farm, it disbanded the scorpion group and climbed up to the city gate tower to find Cai Hongming to ask for credit. Cai Hongming touched the little guy and wanted to take a big wolf berry from the space for it to eat. Then he remembered that the jade tripod exploded and he didn't know if the space was still there. He looked at the remaining peaches in his hand and didn't know if this guy would eat it, so he handed it over. Unexpectedly, this guy didn't care about meat or vegetables. He actually lay on it and ate it. The black and white evil spirits next to him sneezed and seemed a little bit unable to bear it. Cai Hongming patted it. This guy, who eats and drinks well at home every day, doesn't know the suffering of the white jade scorpion outside. He looked at the white jade scorpion's body that had become dark and crystal-like, thought about it, and decided to give it a name. What should I call it? How about a little beauty? Because the crystal-like, bright and clean body is as beautiful as a beauty. But is this guy male or female? Cai Hongming grabbed the tail of the white jade scorpion and took a look. Then he remembered that this thing has no penis, so he couldn't see it. But he didn't know how to distinguish between male and female scorpions, so he had to check it online to find out. It turns out that adult scorpions are mainly judged by body size. Females are wider and fatter, and their heads are larger. Males are slender and smaller than females. They can also be distinguished by observing the pectinate organs on the abdomen, which are the genitals. The top of the male genitals is more prominent, while the female's is flatter. After careful observation, he concluded that the white jade scorpion is female, and it seems that the name Little Beauty is a good name. Therefore, from then on, the white jade scorpion that turned black had a name called Little Beauty. The weather is good tonight, and the night is charming. Cai Hongming didn't want to go back so early, so he lay on the rocking chair in the city gate tower, rocking leisurely, slowly closing his eyes, and his mind sank between his eyebrows. Last time when I was underground in the dark river, a piece of information came into my mind. It was just that he was in a hurry at the time, and then he had something else to do, so he didn't look at it. Now he has time to take a good look. In the dark, he seemed to see a round green jade bead emitting a faint light between his eyebrows. Hey, what is this thing? He remembered that he didn't have this thing between his eyebrows before. He was curious and looked carefully. Suddenly, an inexplicable message broke into his mind. After reading the message, he understood the origin of the jade bead. It turned out that the cave paradise and the jade tripod had an extraordinary origin. It was a small space formed by absorbing spiritual energy after the formation of heaven and earth. It was a place independent of the Taoist 36 cave paradises and 72 blessed places. Later, it was discovered that it was placed in the jade tripod to store spiritual energy, and the huge stone engraved with the cave paradise was formed by the accumulation of spiritual energy, and was also the hub of the entire space. Over the years, the huge stone in the space slowly gave birth to a trace of spirituality. After the great changes in heaven and earth and the decrease of spiritual energy, the huge stone could not support this vast space, and could only slowly shrink the scope of the space, and finally became what it was when Cai Hongming first saw it. Later, it was replenished with spiritual energy and slowly recovered. When in the underground river, the jade tripod was pierced by the chain and shattered, and then encountered the explosion of the platinum dragon seal. Under the double impact, the space of the cave paradise was in danger of collapse at any time. For the safety of the space, the boulder had to use all its strength to knead the fragments of the jade tripod and the platinum dragon seal into jade beads, turning it into a place to accommodate the space. He also collapsed due to using energy beyond his body. The boulder engraved with the 4 words Danshan Fudi was originally transformed by spiritual energy. After the collapse, the fragments of the boulder turned into spiritual energy again, and floated in the space, forming a wide lake and several majestic mountains. After Cai Hongming entered the space, he saw several mountains guarding the lake. The lake is very large, at least thousands of acres. But this lake is very strange. Half of it is azure blue and half of it is light green. The two seem to be incompatible and opposite to each other. In the distant mountains, there is a small spring slowly flowing down and pouring into the lake, and the medicinal herbs he planted before were placed in a valley not far from the spring. To be continued. Chapter 89 Notes on the Heart Method and Alchemy Technique, Part 1. Cai Hongming came to the place where the medicinal herbs were planted and found that half of the medicinal herbs originally planted in the blessed land had disappeared. Fortunately, the most important jade Ganoderma, tea trees and purple gourd vines were well preserved. When the little fat worm saw him appear, it flew to him, looking at him eagerly, seeking comfort. It was really scared to death. It thought this place was finished. These days, it couldn't even eat its favorite tea and Ganoderma, for fear that the last thing would happen again. But it seems that the situation is not only not getting worse, but getting better. Its appetite is slowly recovering. Cai Hongming touched the little guy's head. This little fat worm is fat and feels soft and tender, especially the big eyes. Looking at you, it is as innocent as a flawless child, especially cute. If I take it out to Wana, she will definitely like it. But I can't give it to her. If she sees it, she will have to hold it in her arms every day. It is estimated that the little fat worm will be played to death by her in 2 days. Didn't you see that the black and white evil spirits don't like to pay attention to her now? They are just annoyed by her. I bathe you, dress you up, and smell good every day, and I also want you to be my footrest and pillow. Whoever comes here will be annoyed. Cai Hongming looked around and found that the mountains next to the lake were all earth mountains. The soil was fertile, but there was no plant at all. There were fish in the lake. They were the sea fish he had raised in the platinum dragon seal from the sea. Now they were all transferred to the azure lake, while the semi-light green lake water had no fish at all. He tried it and found that the water in the azure lake was salty, while the light green one was fresh water. He didn't know how it was generated. At this point, he had to admire the magic of the creation of heaven and earth. After a circle and a look, he felt that he couldn't let the mountains go to waste, so he planned to use these mountains. One of them must be used to grow tea trees. When he goes home next time, he will dig up the abandoned tea trees on the back mountain of his hometown and plant them. Then buy some Wuai cinnamon rock tea seedlings to plant. Wuai cinnamon is a very unique oolong tea. It tastes like cinnamon and is a variety that Cai Hongming likes very much. I just don't know if it can be grown in the space, because Wuai rock tea is a unique product of the Wuai mountain core scenic area. Outside the Wuai mountain core scenic area, it is called semi-rock tea, but it is several levels lower. It doesn't count at all. But no matter what, you have to try it to know. In addition to growing tea, leave another mountain to grow peaches. Cai Hongming likes to eat peaches very much. He feels that peaches are delicious and juicy, sweet but not greasy. When you bite them, the juice splashes, and a sweetness penetrates your heart. It makes people feel good all over. Unfortunately, it is difficult to eat good peaches in the northwest, so he plans to grow some himself. He has even thought about what variety to grow. Small peaches are planted at the top, which are about the size of a ping pong ball. They can be eaten in one mouthful, and they have small or even no seeds. Medium peaches are planted a little higher, which are about the same size as the peaches on the market. Large peaches are planted at the top, which are also called giant peaches. The smallest of them is the size of a palm. They are like small watermelons, and are not available on the market. However, these giant peaches are difficult to manage. They need to be fertilized from time to time. In other words, only a few fruits can be produced on a giant peach tree, because the nutrients are absorbed by these peaches, so they can grow so big. If there are more fruits, the peaches produced will be the same as those on the market. There are several mountains, one for tea, one for peaches, and the rest for medicinal herbs. Cai Hongming plans to use them to grow medicinal herbs. Nowadays, due to weather changes and some human factors, wild medicinal herbs are becoming less and less, and they are gradually turning to artificial cultivation. After all, artificially cultivated medicinal herbs are inferior to wild ones, because wild medicinal herbs have to overcome waterlogging, severe cold and heat, and fight against nature. There is a natural wildness in the bones, so the medicinal properties are relatively strong and fierce, while artificially cultivated medicinal materials are like children who are raised at home, with white skin and tender meat, but they don't know the 5 kinds of grains, are afraid of cold and heat, and their medicinal properties are several levels lower than those of wild ones. Many old prescriptions are useless now, partly because of the symptoms and quack doctors, but also related to artificially cultivated medicinal materials. In fact, it would be fine if only the medicinal materials were artificially cultivated. There are also some greedy growers who use chemical fertilizers and hormones to grow and fatten the cultivated medicinal materials, which reduces the medicinal properties of the cultivated medicinal materials by several times. Some also abuse pesticides, which not only reduces the medicinal properties, but also makes the people who take the medicine suffer from the danger of pesticide poisoning, which is the most terrible. The medicinal materials used by Cai Hongming's family are all authentic wild medicinal materials, so the cost is very high. The high cost is not a big deal, mainly because some wild medicinal materials are decreasing year by year, or even no longer available, such as tiger bones, bear bile, ginseng, thick tonic, blood-saving throat, Cheyenne snow lotus, etc. Therefore, Cai Hongming wanted to plant some medicinal herbs as a backup, in case there was no wild medicinal resources. But this space is not omnipotent. Now the jade bead has just been created by the huge stone engraved with Dangshan Fudi. It is very unstable. It needs to be supplemented with spiritual energy to avoid the danger of the broken space collapse. Therefore, what Cai Hongming has to do now is not to plant a lot of medicinal herbs, but to replenish the spiritual energy for the jade bead first. It's a pity that the jade bead can't be taken out now, otherwise it can absorb spiritual energy by itself. Cai Hongming didn't know how to let the jade bead between his eyebrows absorb spiritual energy, so he had to take one step at a time. I think the jade bead should not break so quickly. After walking around, he returned to the place where he planted medicinal herbs. He suddenly found that the skeleton he brought out from the dark river yesterday was lying quietly in the thatched grass in a corner. He had forgotten it before he saw it. He hurried over and saw that the bone tube, jade whisk and rusty sword he had collected were also next to the skeleton. He picked up the intact jade whisk and looked at it. He found that the jade on the whisk was Kunlun green jade, and it was the best jade. Kunlun jade, also known as Qinghai jade, is produced in the eastern edge of the Kunlun mountains into Qinghai province. It is in the same mineralization belt as Heishan jade. The east of Kunlun mountain is called Kunlun jade, and the north of the mountain is called Heishan jade. The straight line distance between the two is about 300 kilometers. Kunlun jade is fine and smooth, elegant and refreshing, oily, and highly transparent. It is divided into white jade, grey jade, green jade, white with green sugar at white, etc. The ones that are crystal clear, round, pure and flawless, without cracks, and without impurities are the best. The green jade on the handle of the jade whisk in front of him is obviously the best of the best. There is a bunch of white silk tied to the tail of the jade whisk. I don't know what it is. It has been soaked in the water for so long without rotting. Cai Hongming touched it and felt it was as smooth as silk and like an animal tail, just like the tail of a yak or the black and white double evil spirits. After looking at it, he didn't know what it was, so he waved it a few times beside him and said, "May you be blessed with infinite blessings." Suddenly, he felt that he had a bit of immortal spirit. He casually pinned the jade whisk on his belt, picked up the rusty sword, pulled out the sword body, and saw that it was cold and sharp, without even a trace of rust. He casually cut a herb next to him and passed by. I didn't expect that the sword would not break after being under the water for so long, and it was still so sharp. It can be called a treasure sword, but the wood on the hilt and scabbard of the treasure sword are not so lucky, and they are almost rotten. But I believe that, after replacing the new wooden handle and scabbard, this treasure sword will regain its former style. Suddenly, he saw a few seal characters engraved on the sword. Forgive him for his lack of knowledge and understanding. He can only go back and check it on the internet. Putting the sword aside, he picked up the bone tube on the side. The mouth of the bone tube was sealed tightly, and Cai Hongming pulled it out for a while before pulling it out. There was no water inside, but there was a scroll. He took it out and saw that it was a parchment scroll with countless small characters written on it. It was traditional Chinese regular script, which he could understand. To be continued. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 90 Notes on the Heart Method and Alchemy Technique, Part 2. I'm Master Peng Yu. My father is Peng Zi, a disciple of Master Bei Yuchen, the Taoist master of Zikingming. Cai Hongming took a deep breath after reading the words on the parchment scroll. As expected, the corpse under the dark river was a Taoist priest with an extraordinary origin. His father was an important figure in the southern school of the Jiandan sect and was regarded as one of the southern seven true ones of Quanzhen Taoism. He was a disciple of Bei Yuchen, the fifth ancestor of the southern school of Taoism. Bei Yuchen is quite famous in Taoism. It is said that he was smart since childhood, familiar with the 9 classics, and was good at poetry and calligraphy. He passed the boys' exam at the age of 12, and later became a Taoist monk, devoted himself to the metaphysics of alchemy, and founded the Southern School of Alchemy. After ascending to heaven, he was named Zikingming Dao Zenren, and was known as Mr. Ziking. Later, He was revered as one of the 5 southern ancestors of the Taoist alchemy school and an inner alchemy theorist. Baiyuchen is not the most famous figure in the history of Taoism, nor is he the most famous poet in the history of Chinese poetry, but he is the most outstanding poet among Taoist figures, the most famous Taoist among poets of all dynasties, and the only Taoist immortal poet in Chinese history. Even if Cai Hongming is ignorant, he has heard a poem written by Baiyuchen, the Taoist family of white clouds and yellow cranes, a zither, a sword, and a cup of tea. The feathered clothes are often smoky and hazy, and they are not stained by the peach and plum blossoms of the world. You often laugh in the world. Why do you travel around the world? You finally suffer all the hardships and correct the way, and you are not stained by the peach and plum blossoms of the world. Why do you always laugh and fight for fame and fortune in the world? It is better to turn back and understand the great Tao and live in the carefree immortal home. My home is quiet and in action, and I'm not stained by the mundane world. I seek famous teachers to correct the Tao and go to Langhe at the Peach Festival. This poem has been arranged into a Taoist song and sung in modern times. It was after listening to this song that Cai Hongming learned about Baiyuchen and related things. I didn't expect to meet his disciples today. What a fate. According to the words written by Penyusen on the sheepskin scroll, Cai Hongming learned everything about Penyusen. Penyusen was raised by his mother, who also became a monk and practiced Taoism since he was a child. Living in a Taoist family, he was influenced by everything about Taoism. It is said that he could recite Laozi at the age of 5 and could understand Zhuangzi at the age of 10. When he grew up, he inherited everything from his parents and practiced hard. From time to time, he talked about the Tao with his uncles, and his understanding of the southern school of golden elixir became deeper and deeper, and gradually he got a glimpse of the great Tao. After he turned 30, he felt that he had made no progress in his cultivation, so he went out to travel and practice. Over the years, he saw the beauty of the north and south, and the sufferings of the world. His heart of Taoism became stronger, and his cultivation gradually improved, but unfortunately he could not condense the elixir and enter the Tao. One day, while practicing, he realized that his chance to become a Taoist and condense the elixir was in the northwest. So, he went to the northwest alone. When he arrived, he saw a desolate land. At that time, the northwest was not a piece of yellow sand, but some dry earth mounds with some withered weeds and shrubs growing on them. When Master Peng Yu arrived, he felt that this place should not be so desolate, so he looked forward. He had many uncles, and he had learned a lot. In the past, our uncle had taught him a volume of key watching. He condensed the key into his eyes, which was to look at the key. The ancients believed that the growth of all things, the movement of the sun and the moon, and the interaction of the key of heaven and earth have their own reasons. As long as you can discern the laws among them, you can distinguish good and bad fortune, wealth and poverty. The decision of looking at the key is a summary of the changes of various key. There are many such records in ancient books, records of the Grand Historian, Chronicle of Emperor Wen, the 15th year of Emperor Wen of the Han Dynasty, 165 BC. Xin Yuanping, a man from Zhao, was seen by looking at the key, so he advised the emperor to set up the 5 temples and Weiyang. Book of Han. Records of suburban sacrifices also recorded this event. Xin Yuanping said to Emperor Huan, "There is a divine key in the northeast of Chang'an, which is 5-colored and looks like a crown. The auspicious sign from heaven is coming. It is appropriate to set up a temple to the god of heaven to match the response." Emperor Wen accepted his suggestion and set up the 5 Emperors Temple in Weiyang. Mozi, Yangdi Temple said, "Key has the key of a great general, the key of a small general, the key of an incoming general, and the key of a defeated general. Those who can understand this can know success or failure." Lushi Chunkiu. Mengli said, "In the most chaotic transformation, the monarch and his ministers will betray each other, the elders and the younger will kill each other, fathers and sons will tolerate each other, brothers will slander each other, friends will turn against each other, husbands and wives will deceive each other, and they will endanger each other day by day, lose the rules of human beings, have a heart like a beast, and grow evil and seek profit. The cloud looks like a dog, a horse, a white swan, or a lot of cars. Some look like a person with a red head and a grey robe, and they are called Xianheng. Some looked like a hanging cauldron, and they are called yunqi. Some looked like a lot of horses fighting, and they are called huama. Some looked like a lot of plants growing, yellow on top and white on the bottom, and they are called chiaoski. Records of the Grand Historian Book of Celestial Officials introduces the divination method of looking at the air, saying that if you look up at the clouds, you can see 300 or 400 miles away. If you climb high, you can see 2,000 or 3,000 miles away. By observing the clouds, you can predict good or bad luck. The Taoist way of looking at the air is actually the same as the traditional Chinese medicine of looking, smelling, asking, and feeling. He looks at your complexion, and then combines it with some physical symptoms to know what disease you have. It's just that the Taoist way of looking at the air is a little more powerful, and it looks at the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and plants. Master Peng Yu looked intently, and saw blood in the distance, and it seemed that there was a dragon crying. But when he looked more carefully, the vision disappeared again. He felt vaguely that the vision was his chance. In order to find the vision, he went to Kilian village, and accepted the advice of the old man in the village, to build a temple here, and accept the villagers' offerings. He stayed there for several years. Finally one day, by chance, he found the vision, a strange palace and a tall altar hidden under the water. At this time, he realized the guidance from the dark. This is the place where a water dragon vein in the northwest is condensed. Now the dragon vein is trapped, causing drought on the ground. If this dragon vein can be rescued, it will undoubtedly be a great merit. After these years of experience, his heart of Tao has been built like a copper wall and iron wall, and his cultivation is enough. He only needs a great merit to condense the elixir, and enter the realm described by his ancestors. I swallow a golden elixir, and my life is determined by me, not by God. Now seeing the great merit ahead, and the condensation of the elixir imminent, Master Peng Yu's eyes are red. However, this great merit is also a great danger. It is definitely not an ordinary person to be able to trap a water dragon here. The palace altar that Peng Yuzin saw at that time was not what Cai Hongming saw now. There were traps and spells everywhere. If you were not careful, you would die, not to mention it was underwater. So he went out to make preparations. He also considered the possibility of death, so he had a sheepskin scroll in the bone tube. In the end, he was unlucky. He broke through many traps, and was about to go to the high platform, but he was hit by a mantra left on the high platform. Alas. Cai Hongming sighed. It seems that it is not easy to be a good person. According to the message left by Peng Yuzin on the sheepskin scroll, he buried a stone box in the underground of the Taoist temple behind Kilian village. In the box, there was a volume of Dunjing, a volume of Wan Qiju, and a volume of Wuji Tushuo written by the ancestor himself, and annotated by his father and uncle, as well as a record of his experience in cultivation over the years. He said that those who got these things could choose to practice, but please help him bring these things to his mother for the sake of getting these things, and if his mother passed away, they could be passed on to his descendants. Cai Hongming didn't look at the words at the end, but when he saw the word stone box buried underground, he immediately became interested. He loved treasure hunting the most, so he ran back to the house, took a flashlight and a shovel, and ran to the back mountain without caring about the darkness. To be continued. Chapter 91. Notes on the Heart Method and Alchemy Technique, Part 2. This is the first entrance hall. That's the left side room. This is the right side room. Still in the back. Cai Hongming searched for a while according to the foundation of the Taoist temple he had seen in his memory, and finally found the room mentioned in the notes of Master Peng Yu. Then picked up a shovel and started digging. In the past, the foundation of the Taoist temple was paved with squared tiles, but the tiles had deteriorated due to age, and they all broke with a slight shovel of the shovel. Cai Hongming used brute force and soon dug a pit on the foundation of the collapsed Taoist temple. Slowly, a stone box appeared in front of him. Wiping off the dirt on the stone box, he moved the stone box out of the pit. The stone box was half a meter long, about 40 centimeters wide, and a little heavy. Putting the stone box on a flat surface, he carefully wiped off the dirt around the stone box, and then slowly opened the stone box. A fragrance came into his nose. The fragrance was not strong, just right. When he opened the stone box, there was another box inside, and the fragrance was obviously coming from the box. Cai Hongming gently picked up some sawdust from the box and put it in front of his nose. He smelled it and found it was sandalwood, and it was old sandalwood. He was also stupid. If he put it in the stone box, even the new sandalwood would become old sandalwood. This made him sigh that Master Peng Yu was really a rich man. This box alone was worth at least tens of thousands of yuan. He looked at it and opened the box. There was a scroll and several books lying inside. He first picked up the scroll and opened it to see a row of words written in a flamboyant style. There were also take-eye diagrams and demonstration patterns. On the back were dense footnotes. After glancing at it for a while, he felt that what was said on it was beyond his current level of education, so he had to put it away first. Then, he picked up the scroll of Wang Qiju. He liked this thing and practiced it well. Just by looking at the key on other people's heads, he could distinguish good and bad fortune. It was really a good thing. After a quick look, he put it away and planned to go back to read it. He picked up another book and read it. It was Master Peng Yu's notes on his practice experience. He would read it slowly when he had time. Then came the last one. When he opened it, he saw a few big characters written in regular script. Yu King Jinxi King Hua Secret Text Jin Bao Nei Lion and Ju. This name looks very impressive. Cai Hongming flipped through a few pages and felt that practicing this Danju was quite promising. In the past, he had only heard of immortals who had refined golden elixirs in books and novels, but he didn't expect that they would appear in front of him now. He was originally very interested in Taoist martial arts and ki training. Now there was a role model in front of him, which undoubtedly gave him a goal to strive for. Now he has reached a hurdle in practicing take-sieging. He can only breathe through the pores of the skin and can't make any progress, so he has given up and hasn't practiced for a long time. He also wants to see if he can make a breakthrough in take-sieging by practicing this Danju. He put away the Danju and planned to go back and take a closer look. Then he put away the things, including the stone box, into the jade bead space. After packing up, he patted the dust on his body and planned to leave. Suddenly, he remembered something. He had dug a box here before, which contained a jade tripod and silk with the words Taoist Sutra written on it. Does that mean that there might be treasures buried underground? Thinking about it, his heart was burning with excitement. If it wasn't too late, he would have planned to turn over the land overnight. Back home, he couldn't sleep all night. When the noisy rooster woke him up, he quickly brushed his teeth, washed his face, and ate, then picked up his hoe and shovel and rushed to the back mountain, not even doing his usual running and exercises. This not only surprised Shiwana, even Jidong and others were also surprised, because he never stopped running and practicing when he got up. For 2 consecutive days, Cai Hongming dug the ground on the mountain. In the end, he turned over the Taoist temple, but didn't find any treasures. Instead, he dug up 2 unused candlesticks and a copper bell that was used for rituals and was rusted beyond recognition. It didn't make sense. Logically, there should be 3 or 4 treasures. If there are 2 treasures, Cai Hongming was puzzled. He thought this was like fishing to find a fish nest, and if there was 1, there would be 2, 3, and 4. He didn't believe in evil and felt strange. The next morning, while eating, he asked Beigong, were there many Taoist priests in the broken Taoist temple in the back mountain? Yes. In the past, our temple was very prosperous. People from far away would come here to burn incense and worship during festivals. At that time, people in our village could also take advantage of the excitement to sell some things to support their families. Unfortunately, the temple was later demolished by the Red Guards and the Taoist priests were also driven away. Beigong said with regret. Didn't they say they left on their own? Cai Hongming was surprised that the version he heard was different from what he heard. Nonsense. Such a prosperous temple, with so much money every year, who would want to leave? They were forced to do it. Were they all the same people? No, I heard from the old people that the first person to build the temple was a Taoist priest. Later, the Taoist priest left and another group came. Then some more people came and the temple gradually became prosperous. Why are you asking this? Beigong asked with his eyes wide open. It's okay, just asking. Cai Hongming now understood. In addition to the stone box left by Master Peng Yu, the other jade tripod and silk were probably buried by later people. Maybe they were afraid that they would be taken away by the red guards, so they had to hide them secretly. I don't know if the person who hid the things is dead or not. If he is still alive, it would not be a good thing to come back and take them. Cai Hongming never thought much about these future troubles. After breakfast in the morning, he had nothing to do, so he stayed at home and took out the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua Secret Text Jinbei Nelly Liandan Ju to read. Next to him, Shiwana was lying on a carpet full of exotic style, with her back against Zua and the black and white double evil on her feet. She was so carefree. The signs of pregnancy slowly appeared on her body. She became a little fatter and looked rich. She also became lazy and didn't want to move much. The black and white double evil sneezed unhappily. If Cai Hongming hadn't gone out today, it wouldn't have wanted her to carry it, but now the dog was under the eaves and had to bow its head. Looking at its honest dog face, it was really wronged. Heaven and earth exchange true fluid, sun and moon combine true essence. When you get the foundation of Canonly, the three realms return to one body. The dragon comes from the east sea, and the tiger rises from the west mountain. The two beasts fight, and become the marrow of heaven and earth. The heart is the home of the spirit. It is the principle of all wonders, and dominates external things. Nature lies in it, and destiny lies in it. But when a thought arises, if you can't calm down when thinking about it, this is an obstacle, and you should give it up immediately. After a long time of practice, you will naturally calm down. There is no greater delusion than joy and anger. If you think about it, when you are angry, you will not be angry. If you know how to suppress joy, you will not be happy. This is true for all kinds of things. After a long time, you will calm down naturally, not just when you sit. However, if you usually lead 1,000,000 strong soldiers, you will respond when things come, and rest when you retreat. This can also be the basis of calmness. With this calm mind to deal with things and things, who says that you will make mistakes? It is really spiritual. Therefore, it is said, one thing can refine the heart, and emotions have no other use. The mirror can observe the shape without error, and the shape will disappear. The mirror will be the mirror. It is because things come and you respond, and things will disappear. Cai Hongming looked at the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua Secret Text Jinbei Internal Alchemy Ju, pondered every word, and compared it with the Taoist Sutra he practiced, and he seemed to have some understanding in his heart. This Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua Secret Text Jinbei Internal Alchemy Ju was left to him by Peng Yuzhen's father Pengzi. It records a situation that needs to be paid attention to when passing each level and each hurdle in practice, and there are also Peng Yuzhen's own annotations. Without these, outsiders probably won't succeed in their practice, and there is even the danger of ruining themselves. He looked at it and was delighted. This was obviously a very suitable practice method for him, and he wanted to practice it right away, to see if it worked. But he couldn't practice at home, otherwise it would be bad if he was accidentally disturbed or startled. So, he said something to Wana, and walked out of the house, planning to go to the wooden house on the mountain. It was quiet there, and no one would disturb him. To be continued, chapter 92, pulling out the thorn. Hongming, give me the key to Wana's car. Oh. As soon as he walked out, Cai Hongming saw Jidong running towards him in a hurry to ask for the key, so he turned around and went back to the house to get it. What's the matter? Why is it so urgent? Cai Hongming handed him the key and asked. Luo Liansheng was pricked by the thorn of the giant column cactus. I have to take him to the city hospital to remove the thorn, otherwise it will get inflamed after a long time. The cactus thorn is very poisonous. Why are you so careless? I don't know. I wasn't there just now. I won't say any more. I have to go there right away. After saying that, Jidong took the key and left. Wait. Cai Hongming hurriedly stopped him. What for? Jidong turned his head and asked in confusion. You don't need to go to the hospital for this kind of thing. Just leave it to me. Go and bring Luo Liansheng to the house. I'll be there later. Can you do it? This is not a joke. The thorns of the giant column cactus are so long. If they are accidentally broken inside when removing, it will affect the recovery in the future. It's right to listen to me. Jidong was skeptical, but seeing his calm appearance, he should not lie, so he thought of giving it a try. If it doesn't work, he will transfer to the hospital. This place is so far away from the city, it would be a sin to toss all the way there. If the thorns can be removed here, it would be a good thing. Jidong thought about it and hurried to bring Luo Liansheng over. After a while, Jidong and others took Luo Liansheng to the dormitory. Others came to visit after hearing the news. After the farm had more people, Cai Hongming started the dormitory above the newly built office building and arranged the newcomers there, while Jidong and others who came first still lived on this side of the building. There were many people and noise over there, so Jidong brought him here so that he could recover quietly. When Cai Hongming came over, he saw a large group of people gathered together. He immediately drove them away, leaving only 2 people to look after Luo Liansheng. "Where did you get stabbed?" Cai Hongming asked Luo Liansheng. "On the butt," Luo Liansheng replied embarrassedly. "Then take off your pants, otherwise how can you treat it? It's better to take off your clothes as well to save trouble." Oh. Luo Liansheng listened and took off his clothes obediently. At this time, the voices of Shiwana and several women came from outside. He was so scared that he quickly put on his clothes again. Cai Hongming was speechless. What was there to be afraid of? It wouldn't hurt to look at it. Not knowing why Wana came here, he walked out. When he walked outside, he saw Wana with her family, the black and white demons and Zua, and a big rooster was looking at them from behind. There were also Panhaman and Chendashan, 2 women, following them. Chendashan's wife was said to be pregnant, and now it seems that her belly is slightly bulging. "What are you doing here?" Cai Hongming asked Shiwana. "I heard that Liansheng was pricked by a cactus. Let's come and take a look. What's so good about it? Let's go back," Cai Hongming said unhappily. Shiwana heard his harsh words and glared at him fiercely. Luo Liansheng, who came out from behind, was afraid that the 2 would quarrel, so he hurriedly said, "Boss lady, I'm fine. Then you should take good care of your injuries. Hey." After a polite greeting, Shiwana turned and left without even looking at Cai Hongming. Several people nearby looked at him and looked at Cai Hongming with a playful look. It seemed as if they were saying that you were finished. Cai Hongming didn't care about that and asked Luo Liansheng to go back and take off his clothes. When he took off his clothes, Cai Hongming checked and asked, "Are they all pricked in the buttocks?" How can it be such a coincidence that they are all here?" Luo Liansheng was a little embarrassed and didn't know where to start. In the end, he had to tell the truth. When he went out to feed the yaks in the morning, he was lucky. He actually found that a giant column cactus had grown fruits, and they were already ripe. He wanted to pick one and taste it before anyone else noticed. Although the cactus was covered with thorns, he was a special forces soldier after all, so he didn't care about such a small matter. So he found some thick gloves and cloth to cover his hands and climbed up the giant column cactus. He trusted his own skills too much and underestimated the severity of the thorns on the giant column cactus. Before he climbed to the place where the fruit grew, the thick gloves were pierced by the sharp thorns on the cactus and pierced his hands. The pain was so painful that it hurt to the heart. He couldn't help but pull his hand out of the giant column cactus. He was still on it, his hands didn't hold anything, and his feet couldn't support his weight, and he fell off the cactus in an instant. Fortunately, there was sand below, so nothing happened. But after falling down, he stumbled and fell on the giant column cactus next to him. The cactus was covered with thorns. If you fall on it, your whole body will definitely be pierced with dense holes. It's scary to think about it. Fortunately, he was quick-witted and lifted his but to let the giant cactus pierce him, and finally he became what he is now. Hearing his words, Cai Hongming didn't know what to say. This is also a man who wants to eat, and not his life. He didn't see when the giant cactus would bear fruit. He would go and see it later. He didn't even know what the cactus fruit tasted like. After looking at the place where Luo Liansheng was stabbed, Cai Hongming took a disinfectant cotton pad to wipe the place where he was stabbed by the giant cactus thorns, and then picked out a little plaster from a plaster bottle he brought and put it on the stabbed wound. The magical thing is that after the plaster was put down, it took only a while before the stabbed place actually began to bubble, and then the thorn that stabbed Luo Lian Sheng's but slowly emerged from the wound. Yes, it just withdrew from the place where it was stabbed. Jidong was stunned by the magical scene in front of him, and his eyes were as big as a ping pong ball. Luo Lian Sheng's comrades next to him were also frightened by what happened in front of them. Seeing the two people's strange expressions, Luo Lian Sheng wanted to turn his head to see what happened to his buttocks. But Cai Hongming pushed him back. "Don't move," he said to Jidong next to him. "Go get a rope and tie him up to prevent him from moving around." No, I won't move anymore," Luo Lian Sheng said hurriedly. "Are you kidding? After all, he was a special forces soldier. It is normal for him to stay still for several hours. If he was tied up for this, his comrades would laugh at him." "Okay, that's it for now. Remember not to move, and don't pull out the thorns by yourself. Wait for the thorns to come out by themselves. You guys watch, I'll come back later." After saying that, Cai Hongming wiped his hands and walked out. "Where are you going?" Jidong asked from behind. "I'm going to see if the cactus fruit is ripe." Jidong's teeth hurt when he heard it. It seemed that it was time to treat the disease. How could he do this? How could he be so unprofessional? Even if he complained, it was useless. Cai Hongming had already run away. Looking back at the cactus thorns that kept popping out, he found it more and more strange. How did this happen? To be continued. Chapter 93, Thorn Extraction Cream and Cactus Fruit. The plaster Cai Hongming used to remove thorns was called the thorn removal plaster, which was mainly used to remove thorns and poisonous sores, and was rarely used. This thing was not only strange to others, but even Hongming, who made the plaster himself, felt very strange. To this day, he still doesn't know what the principle is. It's just a few medicinal materials put together. Why would it have such an effect? It's really hard to explain. It is said that there are similar methods of removing thorns in other places, but that method is very disgusting. Legend has it that it is made by mixing women's shianki with other things and then refining it with unknown techniques. It is black and has a pungent smell, but the effect is indeed the same as the thorn removal plaster. In fact, Cai Hongming doesn't know what's going on with many plasters at home. He only knows how to make them and what functions they have. If he is asked to explain why this is the case, he can't explain it, even if he is beaten to death. Fortunately, his family only gives people bone correction and massage, and sells some homemade plasters by the way. If he treats people, it is estimated that he will kill people. Cai Hongming came to the giant column cactus and looked carefully. He saw several red fruits growing on the tall giant column cactus. It was almost at the top, and on the side of the cactus. If you don't look carefully, you can't find it at all. He looked around again, and found that except for a few tall giant cacti with fruits, the other shorter ones didn't have any. I wonder how it tastes. Cai Hongming was a little greedy, but it was not easy to climb so high, not to mention that the giant cactus was covered with sharp thorns. Look at those thorns. They seem to be emitting sharp light when the sun shines on them, which is not easy to deal with. "Brother Hong, what are you doing?" Liu Zong saw Cai Hongming standing here stupidly, so he came over and asked. When he had nothing to do, he liked to ride a stupid cow named Benben with two hollow sledgehammers and run around, and he couldn't stop for a moment, as if he couldn't highlight his wisdom and greatness without doing so. "Just take a look," Cai Hongming responded casually. He didn't want to tell him that there were fruits on the giant cactus, otherwise when he turned around, the cactus fruit would be gone. These guys have tricks to get the fruits off the giant cactus. Liu Zong listened to his nonsense, but he didn't believe him. In his words, Cai Hongming was a guy who would not do anything without profit, so how could he stand here and waste time in vain? So, he looked at the place where Cai Hongming had just looked. Oh, he actually found a few red fruits. Sure enough, it turned out that he wanted to keep them all for himself. Thinking of this, Liu Zong said to Cai Hongming, "Brother Hong, you are not nice enough. Good things should be shared. You can share it. If you pick it, I will give you half." Cai Hongming said generously. Liu Zhang looked at the giant column cactus and the dense thorns on it, the shortest of which was 6 centimeters, and immediately threw Cai Hongming's tempting idea behind his mind. He still knew his own limitations. If he went up, it would not be him who ate the cactus fruit, but the cactus that ate him. Seeing the fat man's timid look, he knew that he didn't dare to go up, so he asked Liu Zhang to go back and drive the truck over. By the way, bring a long ladder and promise to give him a share after picking the fruit. Liu Zhang immediately went back to drive the car. After a while, he drove the truck over. The trucks on Cai Hongming's farm were all modified from foreign smuggled cars by Tuobren. They were large and durable, but they could not be licensed and could only transport goods in Guilin. If they went to the city, they would definitely be arrested. After he asked Liu Zhang to park the car under the giant column cactus, he jumped into the car, put the ladder on the giant column cactus, and climbed up. Liu Zhang parked the car and climbed up. He was afraid that the ladder would slip, so he kindly helped Cai Hongming hold it. Although the ladder was very long, it could not reach the top of the giant column cactus that had grown to about 10 meters. Combined with the height of the truck and Cai Hongming's height, it could just reach the fruit growing on the inside of the giant column cactus. When he got to the top, Cai Hongming found that a large hole had been dug out in the middle of the cactus at some point. There was a bird's nest inside, and there were several bird eggs with small black spots in the white. TSK, what kind of bird is this? How dare it come to harm his cactus? Doesn't it want to live? It also built a nest next to the cactus fruit. Could it be that it wants to wait for the baby birds to be born as snacks? This bird's father and mother are too calculating. The more he looked at it, the more unhappy he became. If he let them stay any longer, wouldn't his cactus be useless? So, he reached into the bird's nest and wanted to grab the bird's nest and throw it away. But at this moment, a bird's egg suddenly moved and then slowly cracked a crack, which became larger and larger, and then all cracked, revealing a bird's head. At this moment, Cai Hongming couldn't tell what he felt in his heart, whether it was embarrassment, guilt, or awe of new life. He quietly took his hand back. If the bird hadn't hatched yet, he could still do it, throw the bird's nest away, or even eat the bird's eggs. But if the bird has hatched, it means that it is a complete life, and no one has the right to deprive others of their right to survive. What's more, it's just a newly born bird. The cruelest law in the world is the law of the jungle, also known as the law of nature. The birth of a life does not mean that it can survive. It still has to accept the test of survival in nature, disease, hunger, and predation in the food chain above. It can be said that the life that can survive and grow up in nature is the best of its kind, and we humans call it elite. The little bad had just hatched and had not yet opened its eyes. It was foolishly struggling with its tender body to crawl around. Cai Hongming saw it and felt pity. So, he took out a purple gourd from the jade bead space. After the jade tripod was broken, the jade toad liquid was gone. Fortunately, there was this gourd with inexplicable energy that could restore people's vitality. Cai Hongming opened the gourd, took out a leaf from the jade bead, dripped a drop of gourd water on it, and poured it into the bird when it opened its mouth. After feeding a few drops, he put the gourd away, hoping that these drops of gourd water would allow it to grow up safely. Brother Hong, have you picked it? Why are you so slow? Liu Zhang couldn't wait to urge him below. Cai Hongming ignored him and picked a few fruits from the giant cactus that were already red and purple and sat on the long ladder to eat them. Since the bird has made its home here, it means there is food here. Although there are not many insects on the farm, there are leaves, sweet potatoes and corn in the sweet potato field, so he is not afraid of the bird starving to death. Then these cactus fruits should be enjoyed by him, otherwise they will go bad if left for a long time. Cai Hongming comforted himself and ate the cactus fruits happily. The cactus fruit is delicious and juicy and tastes a bit like the fruit of the southern myrtle, perennial, but with a hint of sweetness. It is very delicious. Liu Zhang watched Cai Hongming eating big mouthfuls of food, and he was drooling with greed below. Brother Hong, don't do that. Why don't you give me one to try? I drove the car here. Cai Hongming felt weird when he heard this, as if Zhu Beiji was saying, Brother Monkey, why don't you give me one to try? This food is made by me, the old pig. But it didn't make sense to think like this. He was Zhu Beiji, so wouldn't he be Monkey King? Damn, he wasn't the dead monkey who was pressed under the 5-element mountain for 500 years in loneliness. To be continued, chapter 94, the master is pretty breezy. Although Cai Hongming did not admit that he was a monkey, it did not prevent him from feeling that Liu Zhang was a pig. Looking at Liu Zhang's fat body, if he had a pair of protruding ears, he would definitely look like Zhu Beiji. He did not understand why the fat man was as thin as a bamboo pole when he came here, but he became so fat in just 1 year. Could it be that the feed in the cafeteria was too good? However, this guy's fat was not bloated, but very solid, all muscle, and his movement speed was not inferior to others. Even somersaults were as easy as drinking water, which was simply a miracle. Brother Hong, don't just focus on eating, throw one down for me too. Liu Zhang shouted from below. The more he looked at it, the more it looked like Zhu Beiji. Cai Hongming really didn't know what to say. Annoyed by his shouting, he gave him two, and then turned to other giant cacti, and picked the fruits on the cacti. After picking all the purple red fruits from the last giant cactus, Cai Hongming suddenly thought, I wonder if the giant cactus cultivated from the seeds of cactus fruits can adapt to the climate of the northwest. The weather in the northwest is basically as hot as other deserts in summer, but it is a bit cold in winter and spring. Historically, the mountainous areas here have reached -40 degrees Celsius. Therefore, it is difficult for cacti to survive in the wild here. If the seeds of this giant cactus have enough cold resistance, then the cactus can be planted in this vast desert, and the scene will be very spectacular in the future. The most important thing is that the giant cactus can also withstand wind and sand, delaying the pace of land desertification, which can be said to kill two birds with one stone. Cai Hongming thought about it and decided to keep some cactus fruits to see if he could cultivate a highly cold resistant giant cactus. Now that the jade tripod is broken and there is no jade toad liquid, it is impossible to irrigate them to enhance the resistance of animals and plants, and the only way is to use the cultivation method. If it succeeds, in the future, this achievement can be brought out openly. If not, there is nothing we can do. He has also been worried about the jade toad liquid recently. Without the jade toad liquid, it cannot be mixed with water to irrigate the plants in the farm. The vegetables and grains grown will be of a lower grade, but there is nothing he can do about it. There is always a gain and a loss, and he cannot take all the good things in the world. In fact, he feels that the spring water and the jade bead space should also have the same effect as the jade toad liquid. After all, they are all transformed by spiritual energy, but the effect is definitely worse. But now the jade bead is not stable, and he doesn't know what the consequences will be if the spring water is taken out of it. If it speeds up the speed of the jade bead breaking, it will be over. Therefore, he is not considering how to use the jade bead, or what to get from the jade bead, but to find a way to let the jade bead absorb spiritual energy and stabilize it. Cai Hongming jumped off the truck after picking the fruits on the giant column cactus. He wanted to leave, but he was grabbed tightly by Liu Zhang, who got off the car. What are you doing? Brother Hong, give me a few more fruits. Didn't I give you two just now? Just two. I can't even taste them. How can they be enough? Cai Hongming now realized that this guy was a pig. He was entangled by him and had no choice but to give him a few more cactus fruits, then turned and left. Liu Zhang also got in the car quickly and drove the truck back. He didn't want people to know that there was such a good thing as cactus fruit here. He wanted to wait for a while until the fruits were ripe before picking them himself. It's said that a horse can't grow fat without night grass. Cai Hongming didn't rush to see Liu Liansheng. He knew it would take time to remove the thorns, so he went home first. Shiwana was sitting on the soft sofa watching TV. When Cai Hongming came in, she didn't even glance at him, as if she was extremely absorbed in watching. But when Cai Hongming saw her slightly pouting mouth, he knew that she was angry with him. Cai Hongming saw it and quickly apologized with a smile. He picked up a cactus fruit, peeled it, and handed it to her. Wife, come and try the fruit of our giant cactus. Shiwana ignored his courtesy and continued to watch TV, but her chin seemed to be raised a little higher. Come, try it, it tastes delicious. As he said that, he continued to pass the peeled cactus to her and put it directly next to her mouth. Are you annoying? Shiwana said unhappily. No, no, how can I be annoying to my dear wife? Come, try it. You must have never eaten cactus fruit. It's really delicious. Huh. Feeling that he had a good attitude, Shiwana gave him a chance and took the cactus fruit he handed over and tasted it. It tasted really good. Seeing that she liked it, Cai Hongming quickly peeled another one. After eating 5 in a row, Shiwana's anger finally subsided. She pretended to ask casually, "Our master was quite impressive just now. How is that possible? I was not thoughtful about what I said just now. But you can't just go over there like this. Luo Liansheng was naked just now. If you go in, I will be in trouble." "He's naked. What's the harm to you?" Shiwana asked in confusion. Seeing that she was no longer angry, Cai Hongming hugged her in his arms and said, "You are my wife. If you see his dirty things, I will be in trouble, right? You people, I don't know what's going on in your mind," Shiwana said contemptuously. After spending some time at home with his wife, Cai Hongming went to see Luo Liansheng when the time was almost up. In the room, Jidong and Luo Liansheng's comrades in arms stared at the cactus thorns that emerged from the wound on Luo Liansheng's body. They couldn't figure out how the thorns came out by themselves. When Cai Hongming came, he saw the last cactus thorn coming out. He drove the 2 people who were in the way aside and picked up the disinfectant cotton wool he brought with him to clean the plaster and thorns on the wound. After cleaning, he pressed on the wound with his hands until all he pressed out was red blood. Then, he wiped the wound with alcohol, took out another kind of plaster for muscle growth and hemostasis from the bottle, and put it on a small piece of paper, heated it with fire, and pasted it on. Remember not to take a shower or do too much intense action in the next 2 days, and you'll be fine. After Cai Hongming finished, he packed up his things and said to Luo Liansheng, "No, can't take a shower." Luo Liansheng looked worried. Wouldn't it be fatal if he couldn't take a shower in such a hot day? If you want to heal quickly, you can't take a shower, and don't use too much force, so as not to affect the healing of the wound. After saying that, Cai Hongming left. In fact, he was scaring Luo Liansheng. That little wound was not a big deal. The main reason was that the thorn inside was difficult to pull out. The thorn was round and pointed. Once it was taken out, the muscle closed. In fact, there was no need to apply medicine. It would heal on its own in 2 days. Cai Hongming was punishing him for messing around in order to eat cactus fruit. Fortunately, it only pricked his buttocks. What if the cactus thorns pricked his head or other places? This busyness took up another morning. There was no choice but to leave the practice until the afternoon. After lunch, he took a rest to avoid the scorching sun at noon, and then walked up the mountain, intending to try out the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua secret text Jin Baonei Lion and Ju. To be continued, Chapter 95, Double Pun. Arriving at the mountain, the first thing Cai Hongming saw was the ground that he had dug into a mess. In the past, the dilapidated Taoist temple could at least be seen in its original form, but now nothing can be seen. There are only piles of soil here and there, and piles of broken stones and bricks here and there, which look very unsightly. Well, the land has been turned over well, and there will definitely be a good harvest next year. Cai Hongming looked at the results of his work in the past few days, and comforted himself in his heart without blushing or panting. He walked past the unsightly ground, and came to the wooden house he built. When he opened the door, he saw a cloud of dust falling. Since the establishment of Zidu Shengjing Farm, he rarely came to the wooden house, and he would come to clean it occasionally. This time, he didn't come because of filming, and a pile of dust fell again. After opening all the windows and cleaning it a little, Cai Hongming sat cross-legged in front of the wooden house, facing the endless yellow sand, and practiced according to the records in the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua secret text Jin Baonei Lion and Ju. The body of a woman can be compared to heaven and earth, embracing all things, changing unpredictably, and being spiritual and mysterious. People use it every day, but do not know it, so the way of the golden elixir is rare. The way of the golden elixir is to value the medicine, and the medicine lies in the essence, key, and spirit. The spirit is the divine light, the essence is the essence, the key is the primordial energy. The essence is not full without key, and the spirit is not full without key. The essence is fused with key, and the key is used by the essence. The key is seen by the spirit, and the spirit is used by the key. Key is called innate, and it is called acquired. Those who get it are like crazy and drunk, forgetting to sleep. The sky and the earth are boundless, and give birth to Taiji, and Taiji gives birth to Liangai. Liangai gives birth to 4 images, and 4 images give birth to 8 trigrams. The 8 trigrams are established, and the way of heaven, earth, and man is complete. Heaven is based on movement, and earth is based on stillness. The key of heaven and earth is constantly flowing, and the sun and the moon move in it. After my parents gave birth to me, the veins and veins began to grow. After the body is complete, the veins and veins begin to grow. On the contrary, it is like the emptiness of the original nature, and the tendons of the valley. It is almost like the lushness of grass. This is the innate key, the innate way, and the ultimate words of the golden treasure. The birth of the original key circulates in the body, but why is it collected and used only in the kidney palace? The path of the kidney palace. It goes directly to the key point wanting, which is the first. The kidney is the essence palace, and the essence is directly drawn to use it, which is the second. It is difficult to find it when it circulates elsewhere, but it can be recognized when it reaches the essence palace, which is the third. The heart key penetrates the kidney, and the mind goes straight, so it is easy to collect it. The fourth is, with these 4, the true yang is collected in the kidney palace. The collector takes the true mercury from the heart field. If it can be collected, collect it, and it will be used. If it is not collected at the right time, the dragon will not descend, and the tiger will not rise, although blood and ki are running and rushing back and forth. In the trance, the true heart is seen. Once the true heart is seen, a true intention will be generated from this true heart, and it will be reflected and illuminated inwardly, so that all the orifices are ready, the essence will be exuded, and the true intention will be continuous. When the true breath is continuous, the acquired key is settled, and when the acquired key is hidden, the innate key will be seen, so the yang is born. The yang is born when the innate key flows out from the key point and reaches the kidney, like a bubble. There is a strand between the 2 kidneys that penetrates the key point. It is after the parents have intercourse that the veins begin to grow. Therefore, the innate key flows there, and when you feel this, all the meridians in the body are like spring. Spring is warm and gradually grows. At this time, the innate key begins to stand. When the innate stands, the acquired key retreats and hides. Then you can move slightly to take the intention. The intention is to look down at the heart with your eyes, but let go of the heart, and send it into the yang palace. Slowly collect and then let it go, then the yang will rise. I see that the intention of the one yang theory of taking is born in the heart, and the heart is born in the eyes. Therefore, Laozi said, I have observed the heart, and obtained the Tao, and I'm also very spiritual. Cai Hongming followed Jinbeo's inner alchemy and practiced breathing in and out, becoming extremely rhythmic, gradually relaxing his body and mind and forgetting himself. In the dark, he felt that I was no longer myself. His heart was empty and clear, as if only this world was left, breathing in and out with the world. This feeling was very wonderful, like the refreshing moment of eating mint candy, and like the feeling of being drunk. It is difficult to describe in words. If nothing unexpected happened, Cai Hongming would be lost in this state and continue. But at this moment, he suddenly remembered a poem he had seen in the alchemy earlier. The dragon came from the East Sea, and the tiger rose from the West Mountain. The 2 beasts fought and turned into the marrow of heaven and earth. The mind moved, and the air moved. Suddenly, he felt as if there was a stream of air between the tail and the buttocks, passing through the dragon bone into the brain, and rushing straight to the entrance, and there was also a stream of air rising rapidly from the Kihei below the abdomen, passing through the shank, and entering the huage, and going straight to the changlao. The 2 energies were fierce, like the waves of a typhoon, rushing in. Before Cai Hongming could react, the 2 collided with each other. Cai Hongming only felt a boom, his eyes went white, and he lost consciousness. After the 2 energies collided, they continued to impact each other, slowly blending together, without distinction, circulating through the meridians. When the 2 energies were moving, streams of invisible gas drilled in from outside the body, and were then assimilated by the 2 energies. After traveling through the meridians for a while, the blended gas was about to return to the Danshan dormant. At this moment, the jade bead between Cai Hongming's eyebrows suddenly emitted a ray of light, sucking the blended gas cleanly. However, after a while, it kindly spit out some of it. Maybe it was an illusion. Just for a while, the jade bead seemed to solidify a little. When he woke up again, Cai Hongming found that the world seemed to have become different, with a feeling of white snow from nothingness, yellow buds from silence. Not sure if it was an illusion, he found that his eyes seemed to be able to see farther, and the sky and the earth became clearer. It seemed as if there was a layer of white fog before, but now the white fog has dissipated a little. Taking a deep breath, he felt that even the air became fresher. He stood up and moved, and his bones crackled like the sound of golden jade. Cai Hongming felt that something must have happened when he fainted just now, otherwise he would not feel that his whole body was full of strength, and his body was also much lighter. So, he sat down again, closed his eyes, and felt everything in his body. After all, he still had some medical skills, and if there was a blockage in the meridians, he could still detect it. After just sensing for a while, he couldn't detect anything wrong with his body. But when he wanted to open his eyes, he suddenly felt something was wrong. He didn't look carefully just now, but now he found that there was a stream of air circulating between his Ren and Du meridians. What's going on? Cai Hongming thought about it. Could it be because of the two conflicting energies just now? This reminded him of the ancient boxing manual that his grandfather had given him. According to the notes left by his ancestors, this is how one breaks through the heaven and earth barriers when practicing martial arts to a certain level. He didn't expect that he didn't achieve anything special in martial arts, but he did break through the barriers. What would those ancestors who practiced Fihequin, but could never break through the barriers think? Cai Hongming laughed secretly. He remembered that there was a record in the ancient boxing manual that, after breaking through the heaven and earth barriers, all diseases would be cured, strength would increase, intelligence would be improved accordingly, and things that he didn't understand in martial arts before would be easily integrated. Cai Hongming tried it, and his strength did increase a lot, but it was still not very stable, and needed to be consolidated. After playing for a while, he remembered that he came here to practice the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua secret text Jinbei Onei Lion and Ju, and hurriedly sat cross-legged in front of the wooden house, and continued to practice. To be continued, Chapter 96, Wan Qi Ju. The mind moves, the mind moves, the key moves. Cai Hongming tried to control the gas that had been dormant in his danshan according to the method in the Jinbei Onei Lion and Ju. He didn't expect that it really worked, and he was immediately ecstatic. This key is actually the fusion of the internal force cultivated in his body and the spiritual energy that entered his body, so it is called Yuan Qi, which is the key of the original body. As the Yuan Qi runs, the spiritual energy outside is also attracted, drilling into the acupoints and pores of the limbs and bones from all directions, and entering the meridians. After Cai Hongming discovered it, he wanted to control the Yuan Qi to refine these spiritual energies using the method in the Jinbei Onei Lion and Ju. Unexpectedly, at this moment, a huge suction force suddenly came from the jade bead, pulling all the spiritual energy over and sucking it into the jade bead. In an instant, there was no drop left, which made him almost crazy. Fortunately, at this time, the jade bead spit out a trace of spiritual energy. Cai Hongming was dumbfounded. He absorbed so much spiritual energy, but only spit out so little. Did he think he was a beggar? But he also found that the spiritual energy that Yasu exhaled seemed to be much more concentrated than the spiritual energy that had just entered his body. Could it be that Yasu had just absorbed the spiritual energy and condensed it before releasing it? He didn't believe that Yasu would be so kind. It is said that there is no such thing as doing things that harm oneself and benefit others. He estimated that Yasu herself had also embezzled a little, and perhaps this could be understood as a reward. However, if the mixed spiritual energy could be condensed for him, he would have no objection. If the human body is compared to a bucket, then the spiritual energy that just entered the body is like fog, and the spiritual energy that Yasu exhaled can be said to be water. There is a world of difference between the two. Moreover, after the spiritual energy is condensed, the body, a large container, can also accommodate more vitality, so Cai Hongming certainly has no objection. At that moment, he hurriedly refined and absorbed the spiritual energy that Yasu exhaled. He practiced for a whole day, and when he opened his eyes again, the sun was setting. An afternoon passed just like this. Cai Hongming couldn't help but sigh that time passed so quickly. I remember when I was studying, I always felt that the days passed like years. Now that I don't have any books to read, I feel that time is passing by very quickly. Sometimes I have to say that humans are indeed very strange animals. Since I have cultivated my vital energy, it means that I can learn the Qi Huangju left by Master Peng Yu. So, he quickly picked up the book with the Qi Huangju and started reading it. The Qi Huangju is actually not like a cultivation method, but more like a general discussion on the Qi of heaven and earth, because except for the beginning of the Qi Huang method, the rest are discussions about the Qi contained in the sun, moon, stars, and people. After a few glances, Cai Hongming already understood it. So, he put down the Qi Huangju, followed the records above, and let the Qi flow into his eyes, to open the veins in his eyes. After a while, the veins in his eyes were opened, and when he looked up, he suddenly found that the world had become unusually wonderful. This was a world he had never seen before. Colorful gases flashed in the world, making this world beautiful and dazzling, making people dazzled. He quickly calmed down and looked at a big tree not far away according to the method recorded in the Qi Huangju. Above the tree canopy, a light red stream of water was constantly rising. This meant that the tree was safe and sound. After looking at it for a while, he tried to look at a stone next to him, but there was nothing. He then remembered that the Qi Huangju could not look at dead things without life. So, he turned to look at other things. Suddenly, he felt dizzy and exited the Qi Huang state. He only felt that countless small stars were spinning in front of his eyes. He felt dizzy and his ears were like cicadas. After resting for a while, he slowly recovered. But at this moment, he suddenly found that all the vitality running in the meridians had disappeared. This discovery scared him so much that he broke out in a cold sweat. What was going on? He calmed down and thought for a while. It seemed that, when he was looking at the Qi just now, the vitality in his body kept flowing to his eyes. It should be that the Qi Huang consumed the vitality. It seems that this Qi Huang can't be looked at for too long, otherwise there will be a lot of sequelae. I don't know how long it will take for this vitality to be cultivated back. It's really hard for decades, and now it's back to the time before liberation. Cai Hongming is full of sadness and helplessness. As the sky gradually darkened, Cai Hongming went back to avoid worrying his wife. In the next few days, he practiced the Jade Purity Golden Box Secret Text of Love Words and the Golden Treasure Internal Alchemy in the Wooden House every day. Finally, on the third day, he made up for the lost vitality, which made him feel relieved. He thought it was really gone. He forgot the days when he practiced. If it wasn't for his wife's reminder, he would have almost forgotten that there was a celebration banquet for the completion of the filming at Zidouin. Seeing that the time was very close, he didn't want to go too late, so he asked Shiwana to pack up and go to Guilhem together. Shiwana had nothing to do with the celebration banquet, but his mother was worried about her being alone on the farm, so she asked her to live in the town. In the town, if there was anything, she could go to the hospital immediately, unlike in Zidou farm, where she had to drive for half a day to go to the hospital. Half a day is enough time for many things to happen. Therefore, Cai Hongming wanted to buy a helicopter a long time ago, so that it would be more convenient to go back and forth to Guilhem, or go to other places, but he didn't know how to buy one. No one knew about it when I asked the guys on the farm, so the matter of buying a helicopter was delayed indefinitely. This time, I would not be back for a long time, so Cai Hongming drove his wife back by himself. He originally wanted to take the black and white demons back, but if he took the black and white demons, he had to take Zua with him. Now the two guys are so sticky that it is impossible to take only one. It's just that it's very troublesome to take two big guys to the town, such as bathing them frequently. Now Shiwana's belly is big, so it's not easy to do, so Cai Hongming left them in Zidou and let Jidong and others take care of them. Outside the window is the vast desert. This year is dry, there is no grass outside, and there is a desolate yellow everywhere. However, this kind of yellow gives people endless yearning, making countless people want to come and see the style of this vast desert. Because his wife is pregnant, Cai Hongming drove very slowly to avoid vibration as much as possible. She lay lazily on the recliner, closed her eyes, and listened to soothing music. This was specially bought by her on the internet. It is said to be good for the development of the fetus, and it can also make people cheerful and relieve stress. However, to Cai Hongming, this kind of music was soft and lingering, just like the gentle whispers of a Jiangnan woman, which made him want to sleep. Beep beep. The car finally turned out of the sand and drove onto the road, and then heard a horn. Cai Hongming looked carefully and found that the driver was his brother-in-law Shi Jinxing. The two cars approached, and Cai Hongming opened the window and asked, "Where are you going?" "I'm on my way to your place." "Are you going back to town?" "Yeah, brother." Shi stuck her head out and greeted. "Hey," Shi Jinxing responded, and then said, "Then let's go back to town together. I have something to talk to you about." After that, he turned the car around and followed Cai Hongming's car back. Everything was normal at home, and the store was still so prosperous. Cai Hongming looked around the store for a few times. He wanted to put on the boss's airs and say a few words, but Shi Jinxing, who was following behind and couldn't stand it anymore, pulled him away to talk. To be continued. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 97. Wow, what a big background. There are several floors above Cai Hongming's barbecue noodle shop, but only the first and second floors are used for business. The floor above is used to store sundries and for employees to live in, and the top two floors are always empty. When he has time, he will go up there for a walk, then make some tea and enjoy the scenery. He hasn't been here for a while, and the tea sets he bought are all covered with dust. It seems that Hong Sheng and the others have never been up here. Cai Hongming came upstairs, went to the bathroom to get a rag to wipe it, washed the tea sets, and then made some tea. The fragrance of tea is lingering, and there is a slight breeze. Drinking tea and enjoying the scenery here is an elegant thing. When the building was first built, Cai Hongming thought about hanging wind chimes on the eaves of the building. When the wind blows, the bells will ring, and the sound must be very beautiful. At that time, it will be very pleasant to drink tea, enjoy the scenery, and listen to the sound of the wind blowing the wind chimes. But later he thought that it would disturb others, so he didn't do it. After a few cups of tea, Cai Hongming asked Shi Jinxing what he wanted to see him about. After the last incident, we investigated Hassa and found that he was just a small leader. There must be a leader higher than him hiding behind him. You have to know that these people are crazy. In order to prevent someone from following the traces they left, we decided to set up a point at your place. What point? Cai Hongming asked curiously. Northwest Emergency Counterterrorism and Riot Control Command Office, referred to as Northwest Office. Is it the same as a police station? Shi Jinxing almost vomited blood. Can this be compared? Different. He suddenly realized that it was the same office, just a different name, and the style seemed to be lowered countless times. No, Shi Jinxing gritted his teeth and said, the firm is only responsible for matters related to terrorism, violence and national security. It doesn't care about catching petty thefts like the police station does. Oh, then you go and set up a point. Why are you looking for me? Isn't it just to build a pavilion outside? It's not like that. This point will be a main contact point in the Northwest, so we want to borrow a house from you, and we will compensate you with some money when the time comes. I have already picked it out. The last one in your village, that is close to the hillside, is just right, but I will take people there to renovate it when the time comes. Well, then you go. I'll call them and tell them. Cai Hongming nodded. He asked again, do you also work in this firm? Of course. Then what department do you belong to? Armed police, special police, or auxiliary police? Why did Shi Jinxing feel that what the guy in front of him said was so unpleasant to hear? Auxiliary police? How come I'm also a company commander in the army? Is it that bad? So he replied unhappily, National Security Bureau. Cai Hongming's eyebrows jumped when he heard it. Wow, so awesome, so powerful. You know, the National Security Bureau is a very powerful place, and everyone is an elite. Especially the external part, they are the elite among the elites, just like the existence of special forces, but they are gods who can kill enemies on horseback, and sew clothes on foot. I didn't expect that my brother-in-law would also go in. This is a rare qualification. No matter what position he works in the future, he will be promoted first. In fact, Xi Jinping was a little lucky to be able to enter the National Security Bureau, because the bureau needed someone who knew the Northwest. It just so happened that he grew up in this place, and his father was a big shot. In order to open up the situation as soon as possible, in addition to various considerations, the leaders of the Security Bureau transferred him here, and he was just a temporary position. However, the last incident left a good impression on the people above, and he has now been converted to a regular employee and became the head of the Northwest office. Of course, Cai Hongming didn't know all this. He didn't know more. There are several main considerations for setting up a point in Shenzhen. This site is close to the border. The latest high-definition satellite images show that there are several unknown underground smuggling channels hidden in the Tengja Desert, the Elixir Plateau, the Badangaran Desert and the central Gobi Desert below. Foreign terrorists rely on these channels to go in and out of the border, as if no one is around. Their main purpose here is to find these channels first. By the way, see if they can catch a few big fish. If they are lucky, maybe he can be promoted to the next level. But these are state secrets. He can't explain them to Cai Hongming, and he doesn't need to hear them. After chatting for a while, Cai Hongming suddenly remembered something and asked Xi Jinping, "Do you know where to buy a helicopter? Why do you want to buy a helicopter? It's too expensive, isn't it? My little money is nothing. The main thing is that my place is too far from the town. I want to buy a plane, so it's more convenient to go back and forth." "That's fine." Xi Jinping thought about it and said, "In fact, you don't have to buy it. I will apply for a helicopter when the time comes. You can use it when you are free. We don't lack that money." Cai Hongming waved his hand and said generously, "How can other people's things compare to his own?" So he refused without thinking. Xi Jinping thought about it and thought it was good, so as to avoid being criticized. "Then what kind do you want?" Cai Hongming thought about it and said, "The helicopter should have a larger space inside. At least it can accommodate more than 10 or 20 people. It should be fast. The equipment should be good, and the performance should be reliable and safe. If an accident happens, the people should be fine if the plane falls from it. Is there such a helicopter in this world?" Xi Jinping was dumbfounded, but he still took note of it carefully and asked someone when he got back. It was not easy for his brother-in-law to ask him to do something, so he couldn't let it slip. But in the end, he kindly suggested, "The land you bought is so big, it's better to buy an agricultural aircraft to spray pesticides. Otherwise, if there is an insect plague, you will be too busy to handle it." "It's okay, there are no insects over there." Cai Hongming waved his hand. Xi Jinping felt a toothache when he heard it. It's strange that there are people who grow crops without insects. Seeing that he didn't listen to his advice, he stopped talking. After he learned his lesson, he would know what good advice he had given today. He came here mainly to talk to Hongming about renting a house. Now that the matter has been completed, he said goodbye and left. Cai Hongming wanted to keep him for lunch, but he was rejected. When he returned home, his father was being pushed, but his mother and wife had gone somewhere. "Dad, where are my mother and Wana?" "They went shopping." "Oh." There was nothing to do. Cai Hongming was bored and started to look through the medicine cabinet. At this time, brothers-in walked in from outside, looked around the store, and found that Cai Hongming's father, Cai Fu, was pushing someone's injured body, and turned to leave. Suddenly, he saw Cai Hongming, who was bored and rummaging around in the medicine cabinet, and said, "Hongming, are you okay? Come and help me press it. I've been sore all over lately, and I feel uncomfortable everywhere." Cai Hongming glanced at him and said, "I'm busy. I have to catch a plane later. Do you think you should wait here for a while, or come back later?" "Is that so? Then I'll wait for a while." Brothers-in walked to the federal chair opposite and sat down. After waiting for about half an hour, he found Cai Hongming still rummaging through the medicine cabinet. He was surprised and asked, "Hongming, Didn't you say you were going to catch a plane? Yes. But I'll be there later. Since it's going to be later, then come over and give me a massage. I don't know what's wrong with my body recently. I feel sore all over. Brothers in, you are too fat. Take some time to exercise, and you'll be fine. If I had exercised, would I still need your massage? Come here quickly. The boss is getting more and more frivolous now. In the past, you would come right away when I asked you to do something, but now you won't do it, even if I ask you for a long time. Cai Hongming had no choice but to go over and give him a massage. It's not that he didn't want to, but he was about to get on the plane. It would take a long time to massage a fat man like him. How could he stay on the plane with the smell of medicinal wine all over his body? But they were all acquaintances, so he couldn't refuse, so he had to go over. Brothers in cried out in comfort after being massaged by him. If you didn't know, you would think something terrible happened here. Luckily, Cai Hongming is used to it, or else he might have some thoughts. You are still strong. Your father's massage is not as comfortable as yours. You are too fat, Zin brother. If you don't lose weight, I can't massage you anymore. Then you will have to go to the massage parlor to find those girls to massage your back. Do you think I haven't been there? Those girls can't even stand on top of you. Oh, your strength is a little weaker. I can't stand it. Please help me press the side. Yes, that's it. To be continued. Chapter 98. Chance encounter. Your skills have improved a lot. I feel comfortable all over my body after you massaged me like this. Of course. After being massaged by Cai Hongming, Brother Zin shook his body and praised him generously. Cai Hongming responded without any modesty. If he hadn't taken action today, his father's hands would probably be sore from the massage again. Massage practitioners are most afraid of encountering fat people because fat people have a lot of fat and the acupuncture points are not fixed. If you press too lightly, it will not be effective. You must use a lot of force, but a person has only so much strength. After massaging him, he will not have to do anything. Therefore, massage practitioners always charge double for such fat people. By the way, do you still have the ulcer cream you gave me before? Give me a few dozen more. A few dozen? Do you have so many hemorrhoids? Cai Hongming glared. Psst, what are you talking about? I'm here to sell. You don't know, your hemorrhoid cream is really amazing. It works immediately after applying, and it never occurs. Many people ask me to buy it, and now I've opened a store online, specializing in selling hemorrhoid cream. It's very popular. Really, what's the name? Let me see. With that, Cai Hongming walked towards the computer on the counter. It's called the Immortal Cream Specialty Store. TSK, why not call it the Longevity Cream? This guy's too genius to name it. Cai Hongming complained in his heart, turned on the computer, typed in a search, and then opened the store page, and what came into view was the Dragon Bone Hemorrhoid Cream that was high on the store sales rankings. He was stunned when he saw it. It was not because of the sales performance, but because the price of the Dragon Bone Hemorrhoid Cream was $999. There is also a row of advertising slogans on it. Heart-wrenching big sale. Don't miss it. If you pass by, Dragon Bone Cure Cream, one application will work, one application will show results. If not, refund. Authenticity guaranteed. $999. Only $999. Only $999. You can't lose out. If you buy $999, you can't be fooled. If you buy $999, take a look. Take a look. I guarantee you will be satisfied. Guaranteed no recurrence, no pain. Cai Hongming was speechless. Brother Zin, you are too awesome. You actually sell it for 999 yuan. It's almost 1,000, and there are still people buying it. Are those people stupid? You don't have hemorrhoids, so you don't know the pain of those of us who have hemorrhoids. You said that thing can grow anywhere, but it grows under the buttocks. You can't sit steadily, you can't stand straight. It's okay in the early stage, and it feels fine, but it's not okay later. Some people can't even move. Going to the hospital for surgery is expensive. There is no guarantee that it won't recur. What's the point of going to the hospital and spending that money? So, I put your hemorrhoid cream up for sale as a good deed, and by the way, I also promote your plaster. I didn't expect that someone would actually buy it. I didn't expect that there are so many fools in this world. Cai Hongming muttered in his heart. But there must be a significant effect of the medicine, otherwise no one would buy his expensive plaster. The dragon bone saw cream he made earlier is indeed very effective. After all, it uses dragon bone powder. This thing itself is extraordinary. It's a bit of a waste to use it to make a saw cream. However, he didn't want to refine it anymore. After all, the more you use the dragon bone powder, the less you use it. It's better to keep it. You don't know when it will come in handy in the future. So, he said to Brothers In, this dragon bone ulcer cream is gone. You can take other ulcer creams. Those are still very useful. Of course I know, but that one will relapse. It seems that I have to lower the price, otherwise the sales volume will drop now. Brothers In muttered to himself, said something to Cai Hongming, and walked out. Cai Hongming didn't pursue the fact that he sold the dragon bone ulcer cream so expensive. After all, his family only sells it for so much money. He was not good at selling it at that price. It was almost noon when Shiwana and his mother came back. The two bought a lot of things and specially called a car to bring them back. Cai Hongming went back and forth 5 times before moving all the things. He looked at it and found that there were all kinds of food, drinks, daily necessities and clothes in it, some of which were for children. Cai Hongming was speechless. It was only a few months old and the child was still in his mother's belly. Was there any need to be so anxious? But there was no way to talk about this kind of thing. The 2 women in the family could only deal with it. Cai Hongming's flight was in the afternoon, and it was just night when he arrived in Beijing. After strolling around the streets, he just went to bed, so as not to be terribly hot outside in the daytime. Because Shiwana was pregnant, Cai Hongming didn't dare to let her drive him to the airport, but found a taxi. When leaving, Shiwana was a little reluctant. Pregnant women are always sad and sentimental, especially since the 2 of them have been together almost since they got married, and have hardly been apart. Cai Hongming comforted her for a while, before making her happy. His mother Ma Luanfeng was jealous in the store, and said her classic saying again, "You lied to people who had never been young." In Minnan dialect, it means, "Do you think they have never been young?" After taking a car to the airport and getting on the plane, Cai Hongming suddenly found an acquaintance, the owner of Filinkina Bakery, Xinjianrao, who was also the object that he felt embarrassed every time he saw her. Because when he saw her, he would think of the scene when he and his wife went on a blind date and recognized the wrong person. It was really embarrassing. Excuse me, has anyone ever recognized the wrong person on a blind date and got a black eye? The answer is no. So, this has become a psychological trauma for Cai Hongming. Fortunately, no one he knew saw it at the time, otherwise this joke would probably be passed down for a century and become one of the things that many men must remember when they go on a blind date. When he saw Xinjianrao also saw him. Although the 2 of them didn't have much contact in normal times, she was impressed by him. When she thought of the chance encounter on the blind date, she couldn't help but want to laugh and felt that this man was really silly and cute. "You are also on this flight. What a coincidence." Cai Hongming greeted. "Well, are you going to Beijing too?" "Yes, you are going home." Cai Hongming knew from his mother that her home was in Beijing. "Well, I haven't been back for a long time, and I want to go back and see," Xinjianrao said faintly. Somehow, Cai Hongming felt that there was an inexplicable sadness and sorrow in her words, as if she didn't like to go back. It's just that the 2 of them were not very familiar with each other, and he was embarrassed to ask more. Although he was not familiar with her, his mother was very familiar with her. Because her bakery was next to their store, his mother would go over to chat with her from time to time, and sometimes she would give her some things. It is said that his mother had enthusiastically introduced her to a young man in the town. His mother didn't think about it. In Gilang, those ugly guys would not be worthy of him. It's a pity that he already had Wana, he said with great regret. Since your family is in Beijing, you should be very familiar with it. Please invite me to taste the best food there. Okay, but I'm afraid you don't have the stomach for it. You know, our Beijing is famous for its many delicacies. Don't worry, I have a big stomach. As the two talked, they exchanged their mobile phone numbers so that they could contact each other. By the way, I heard from your mom that you made a movie. Congratulations. You're going to be a movie star soon. How can that happen? I never thought about it. Besides, being a star isn't necessarily a good thing. You have to wear a hat and glasses all day to prevent people from recognizing you. People who know you will say you're a star, but people who don't know you will think you're a thief. Puff. The long journey was long, and having someone to talk to helped to dispel the loneliness of the journey. PS. I updated a little late today. To be continued. Chapter 99. Dark as Purple. After arriving in Beijing, Cai Hongming left Shenzhen after getting off the plane because she was going in a different direction. He hailed a taxi and went to the hotel he had booked. After taking a shower in the hotel, he was about to go out for a walk when he suddenly received a call from Fan Bingbing. Hongming, have you arrived in Beijing? Yes. How did you know I was coming today? Your wife told me. Which hotel are you in? San Diego, the hotel where we are going to hold the wrap-up party. Is there anything? I'll pick you up for dinner later to welcome you. No need to be so troublesome. Cai Hongming said hurriedly. No trouble, just like that. I'll be there right away. Fan Bingbing came very quickly, which was incredible in the night of Beijing, where there was traffic jam everywhere. She didn't say anything else, just let Cai Hongming get in the car and then drove forward. As the car drove, it gradually moved away from the bustling area of the city. Cai Hongming had never been here before. He just saw that they were getting farther and farther away from the city, so he asked, where are we going? Let's go to a place to eat. I guarantee you'll like it. Oh. The car went around and around for about half an hour before arriving at the foot of a mountain. The car continued to drive up the mountain along the cement road at the foot of the mountain. Suddenly, a building covered with glass appeared in front of them. The words Panlan Club were written on it. The lights were shining all around, making the glass outside the building colorful, dazzling and beautiful. Without going in, just looking at the outside, Cai Hongming was attracted by this place. It's nice here, isn't it? Fan Bingbing asked Cai Hongming. It's nice, at least the air is better than in the city. Of course, let's go in. When they walked in, they heard two beauties wearing high heels and cheongsams with slits to their hips bending over and whispering, welcome. The shaking and majestic appearance of their heads made people's blood boil. Even Cai Hongming, a man who was no longer a novice, was also excited. Fortunately, a waiter who was also wearing a cheongsam came over. He was saved from embarrassment. The waiter obviously knew Fan Bingbing and came over and asked, Sister Bingbing, are you two here today? Yes. Then please come this way. After that, the waiter took them to the second floor. The three of them came to a private room. Cai Hongming looked around and saw that the decoration in the private room was in the French royal style, which looked magnificent. It was bright and gorgeous, and even the tableau on the table looked very luxurious. The waiter waited for the two to finish, poured them a cup of tea, and asked, Sister Bingbing, what would you like to eat today? Hongming, what do you want to eat? Fan Bingbing asked Cai Hongming. Whatever, let's have some Beijing style dishes. Then let's have 8 dishes, 4 meat dishes, 3 vegetable dishes and 1 soup. Ask the chef in the kitchen to show some skill. My friend wants something with our Beijing style flavor. Sister Bingbing, don't worry. Our kitchen chef's ancestors were imperial chefs who cooked for the emperor, and they cook authentic Beijing style dishes. Just wait, the dishes will be here soon. The waiter said, and took the menu to the kitchen. This place is nice. I didn't expect there is such a place in Beijing. I thought that this place in Beijing was just a city of steel jungles except for the messy air. According to the classification outside, this should be a suburb. If it is in the city, how could there be such a place? Even such a place is not something that ordinary people can afford to build, unless the family has some background. Cai Hongming nodded and felt the same way. It is not easy to buy a piece of land to build a restaurant in this place, where every inch of land is worth a lot of money. Especially in this place, you have to have business. You have to have some connections, otherwise the store will close sooner or later. Yifei was supposed to come with me today, but now she has a movie coming out, and she's busy promoting it, so she can't get away, so she asked me to say sorry to you. Actually, there's no need to be so troublesome. I heard that she's dating a Korean. Is that true? Cai Hongming asked gossipingly. Whether it's a man or a woman, they are very interested in celebrity gossip. How should I know? I'm not familiar with her. If we didn't meet during the filming, we wouldn't know each other. So you asked the wrong person. Oh. The two talked while drinking tea. After a while, the dishes came. This time it wasn't the waitress in cheongsam from last time, but a young woman dressed up in a white cheongsam embroidered with phoenixes. As soon as the man opened the door, he smiled and said to Fan Bingbing, "Bingbing, you haven't been here for a long time. I've been busy filming recently. I haven't seen you for a while. Sister Mei, you have become more beautiful again. No one is prettier than you. You are our national goddess." No, that's just nonsense from outsiders. Cai Hongming looked at Sister Mei who had just walked in. He felt that this woman was very charming. There was a soft charm in her bones, but her tone of voice looked like that of a prostitute in an ancient brothel. This made him feel very strange, so he concentrated his energy into his eyes and looked at her. At first glance, it was incredible. I saw a black mist on her head. Others were red and purple, but she was black and purple. How unlucky would she be to be like this? The ancients always believed that purple air was a good omen, so when Laozi rode a green ox through Hanggu Pass, there was a saying that purple air came from the east. According to the Book of Wanki, purple is auspicious. The people in the main house will be successful and have a good career. If they are officials, they will have a prosperous career, be promoted, have their children rise to prominence, and everything will be smooth sailing. Of course, this refers to being extremely red. Being extremely black is different. The meaning should be reversed to say that this person is about to be imprisoned, lose money, or be injured. However, Cai Hongming could not tell that the woman in front of him, who was dressed seductively and gorgeously, looked like she was in trouble with imprisonment. Instead, she looked like she was in a good mood. Meiji talked to Fan Bingbing for a while and then said goodbye and left. Are you familiar with her? Cai Hongming asked Fan Bingbing. Not very familiar. I've only come to eat with her a few times. But you know, people like us all know each other, and sometimes we have to deal with each other. The food is here. Why don't you eat it? Eat it. Cai Hongming responded and picked up a piece of meat and started eating. But he was getting more and more uneasy. He didn't know whether the things recorded in the Wankiju were accurate or not. But sometimes it's not wrong to be more prepared. So he said to Fan Bingbing, "Let's go." "Why? The food here doesn't suit your taste." Fan Bingbing heard him and said strangely, "No, I suddenly remembered that I have something urgent to do." Cai Hongming didn't know how to explain, so he had to lie to her. "But, the dishes haven't come up yet. What should I do?" "Tell the kitchen to stop cooking. Let's go quickly. I really have something urgent to do." Cai Hongming felt more and more uneasy and hurriedly got up to urge Fan Bingbing to leave. Fan Bingbing had no choice but to let him go, told the waiter not to serve the dishes, and then paid the bill. Sister Mei heard that she was going to pay the bill and leave before the dishes were served, and hurried over to ask what was going on. Of course, Fan Bingbing couldn't say that Cai Hongming wanted to leave, so she had to say that she had something urgent to do and had to leave. Sister Mei knew that she was in the entertainment industry and had a lot of things to do, so she understood and only counted the dishes that were cooked. If such a big star is won over, she may be a guest in the store in the future. After settling the bill, Fan Bingbing drove away with Cai Hongming. When the car was halfway along the road, Cai Hongming suddenly saw a police car parked on the side of the road. The door opened, and several policemen came out to block the road. His eyebrows jumped. This was the rhythm of something big happening. Fan Bingbing also saw the police. She was a smart person. She knew something was wrong after a little thought, so she asked Cai Hongming, "What's going on? You are not in a hurry, are you?" This kind of thing was not easy for Cai Hongming to explain. Should he tell her that he saw that Meiji had a black and purple hair and was going to be unlucky, and he was afraid that they would be affected, so he asked her to leave quickly? Only a fool would believe it, so he lied. You also know that my family is a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and we have some knowledge of people's facial features. Just now I saw that Sister May's forehead was a little black, and she must be in trouble. It's best not to have contact with such people, especially since you are a big star. They asked you to leave because they were afraid that you would be implicated and get into trouble. Judging from the situation just now, the store might really be in trouble. Fortunately, you left quickly, otherwise you would be famous again. It shouldn't be that serious. Fan Bingbing frowned and said, who knows? After encountering this, the two of them were not in the mood to eat, so they just found a hotel and had a casual meal. The next morning, Fan Bingbing turned on his computer and found that the headlines of major websites were written with titles such as Beijing police raided a club at 8 o'clock last night and arrested drug users and prostitutes. Beijing club turned out to be a drug den. Beijing club turned out to be a whore den, and so on. I opened a piece of news and found that the club was where I had dinner yesterday. I couldn't help but feel lucky that I left quickly last night, otherwise I would have been a headline figure again. I don't want to be on the headlines like this. To be continued. Chapter 100. The roast suckling pig tastes good. The next day, the film wrap-up banquet, temporarily named Zaduin, was held as scheduled. In fact, the so-called wrap-up celebration banquet is just a gimmick. It should be a social event to invite everyone to eat, drink and promote the movie. In this play, although Cai Hongming is listed as the protagonist alongside Fan Bingbing, Liu Yifei and others, he is the least famous person among them. Yuanping had people promoted before, and the media reported it. This matter did cause some ripples on the internet media, but in the recent turbulent waves of big news such as the victory parade of the anti-Japanese war, the landing of the typhoon, and the stock market, it was just a splash of water and was instantly submerged by the waves. At best, it was just a splash of water that made people remember his name, and he was not even interested in letting entertainment reporters give him a page report. Newcomers, always like this. There was a routine press conference before the wrap-up banquet, all of which were media invited by investors to promote the movie. In this press conference, Yuanping, Fan Bingbing, Liu Yifei and others are undoubtedly the protagonists, while Cai Hongming, a newcomer who has just entered the film industry, is at best a minor role. People want to ask what the director thinks of this movie, and when the next one will start shooting. Or ask about Fan Bingbing and Liu Yifei's private lives, the protagonists of the scandal, and the next film to be filmed. Cai Hongming is a farmer. A farmer. What is there to interview? Do you want to ask how to grow vegetables? As for the news that he has a heroic grandfather a while ago, those are all old jokes from a long time ago. Does anyone like to hear them? If it weren't for the interviews one after another today, Cai Hongming would probably be very embarrassed today. When it was his turn, people just asked about his feelings about filming for the first time, and how he felt about acting with two beauties, Fan Bingbing and Liu Yifei, and finally nothing happened. What else do you want? Just a newcomer. It's good to have a few reports. This world has always been so realistic. Only when you are successful and famous, the glory of your ancestors can become the background for you to show off. But now, who cares? After the press conference, the celebration banquet began. Some investors and big names in the film and television industry came to the celebration banquet. Most of them came for Yuanping's face. For investors, his movies have always been a guarantee of box office success and will never lose money, and for some artists who are not first line, this means an opportunity to enhance their fame. This is actually a social platform, a place for people to get familiar with each other. So, when the celebration banquet began, everyone took their wine glasses and looked for people to talk to and make friends. Cai Hongming didn't expect that the stars he had only seen on TV and movies before would appear one by one in front of him now, which was really rare. But he was not a star chaser, and no one in his family was a star chaser, so he didn't care much about these. He was not a person who liked socializing and felt that it was meaningless, so he wanted to find a place to rest, but he saw the roasted suckling pig lying on the table not far away, and his eyes lit up. He walked over. Roast suckling pig is one of the most famous dishes in Guangzhou roast meat, and it is the main dish in the Manhan banquet. In fact, As early as the Western Zhou dynasty, roast suckling pig was listed as one of the 8 delicacies, and it was called pao tu at that time. In the southern and northern dynasties, Jia Sixi recorded the roast suckling pig in Key Minimum Yaoshu, in which he wrote, "Its color is the same as amber, and it is like real gold. It melts when you put it in your mouth. It is as strong as snow, with pulp and moist, which is unique and ordinary." Roast suckling pig is very famous in Guangdong. It is one of the offerings when they worship their ancestors, and it is an indispensable festival item for every family. There are 2 theories about the origin of roast suckling pig. One is from the 18th century British scholar Charles Lamb's article talking about roast pig, which says that a long time ago, one day, a family's yard suddenly caught fire. The fire was fierce, and it soon became blazing, and burned everything in the yard. At this time, the owner of the yard returned home, and was stunned to see a ruin. Suddenly, a fragrant smell came to his nose. The owner followed the smell, and found that it was from a burnt piglet. The owner looked at the other side of the piglet, and found that the skin was roasted red. He tasted it and it tasted very good. The yard was burned down, and he was very sad, but he was relieved for inventing a new way to eat pork. But the foreign devil's statement was obviously nonsense. How could he feel relieved, because he had eaten a roasted suckling pig, when his house was burned down? It was hard to swallow it. Another statement came from an ancient legend. It is said that in ancient times there was a hunter who made a living by hunting animals. He had a son named Huod. One day, Huod picked up a few stones and played with them in the thatched shed where pigs were raised. Suddenly, a stream of sparks sprayed from the knocking stones and fell on the thatched shed. The dry thatch on the thatched shed was instantly ignited, and the fire burned fiercely. Huod was still young and ignorant of the world. When he saw the thatched hut on fire, he was not afraid, but rather found it very interesting. After a while, the thatched hut burned down. Suddenly, a fragrance came with the wind. Huod followed the smell, and was surprised to find that the tempting fragrance came from the piglet that was burned to death with the thatched hut. He gently pushed away the ashes of the thatched grass on the piglet, and saw that the piglet was burnt with charred skin, tender meat, shiny and fragrant. He couldn't help but grab the pig leg with his hands, but he screamed in pain because of the lard that was burning. He quickly put the burned finger into his mouth, but unexpectedly tasted the delicious taste of the lard. Huod's father came back from hunting and saw that the pig's shed was reduced to ashes. He was about to call Huod to ask what was going on, but Huod presented a delicious dish, a roasted piglet that was burnt red and shiny, with a strange fragrance, which is now called roast suckling pig. In fact, these so-called legends are all nonsense. The roast suckling pig dish should be derived from the roast meat of ancient ancestors, and then it was improved by later generations. However, a dish and a story can indeed increase appetite, because what you eat is not just a dish, but a history, a beautiful legend. Cai Hongming walked to the table, where the roast suckling pig was placed, glanced around with the corner of his eye, and found that no one was paying attention, so he picked up the knife next to the roast suckling pig, and started roasting the suckling pig. This is a buffet-style banquet, but there are not many people eating, because most of them go to make friends and get acquainted. Cai Hongming's knife skills are good, and each piece of roast suckling pork has skin and meat. The most delicious part of the roast suckling pig is undoubtedly the meat at the ribs, because the meat in this area is thinner, and the marinated flavor is easier to penetrate, and the crispy pig skin tastes great. Cai Hongming casually put a piece of roast suckling pork into his mouth, and felt that it tasted really good, so he continued to slice it. But in a moment, half of the pig's rib meat was sliced out by him, revealing the white ribs underneath. There was almost a plate of sliced pork. Seeing that it was almost done, he took a bottle of wine and a glass, and then walked to an empty seat with the roast suckling pork. To be continued. Chapter 101 Cute Girl Script. The wrap-up banquet was held on the 3rd floor of the hotel. There was a floor-to-ceiling glass window on one side, which just happened to allow a clear view outside. Cai Hongming found a seat by the window, and there was a pillar behind him blocking everyone's view. He sat here, eating roasted suckling pork, tasting wine, and admiring the dazzling street view outside. In fact, he didn't like wine, and didn't like the sour and astringent taste, but he liked fruit wine. Southern Fujian is a famous hometown of flowers and fruits. There are fruits all year round, so various fruit wines have been derived, such as lychee wine, langan wine, green plum wine, banana wine, loquat wine, mango wine, etc. If you add glutinous rice wine, snake wine and those soaked in medicinal materials, there are so many things that you can't count them all. Cai Hongming grew up in such a place and drank all kinds of fruit wine. His taste has long been spoiled, so he naturally looks down on this thing. What's more, many wines on the market are made of pigments and alcohol, which makes it difficult to distinguish the authenticity, so he doesn't like to drink it even more. It just felt weird not drinking when eating meat. After a few sips of wine, he felt it was hard to swallow, so he went to get some freshly squeezed juice. Perhaps he had been in the Northwest for too long, and he felt very uncomfortable when he came here. He was not used to the air here, the food here, and the city. After all, there was the freshest air, the most natural and pollution-free food, and the sweetest water over there. He felt like a hermit who had been practicing in the mountains and suddenly came to the mortal world, feeling so out of place. But once you come here, you have to adapt, otherwise what can you do? I'm so tired. Cai Hongming was eating happily when suddenly a girl of about 17 or 18 years old came over and sat down on the chair opposite, tapping her arms and legs non-stop. She also pulled her face from time to time, saying that she was so tired. The girl was also very nervous. After tapping for a while, she realized that there was someone opposite and couldn't help but smile at Cai Hongming embarrassedly. Cai Hongming also smiled back. The girl seemed to feel a little embarrassed and stood up and wanted to leave. Suddenly, her stomach made a strange gurgling sound. When she smelled the aroma of the roast suckling pig across the street, she found that she could no longer walk. "Why, are you hungry?" Cai Hongming asked kindly. "Well, I only had some bread at noon, and I haven't eaten dinner yet," the girl said pitifully, staring at the meat on Cai Hongming's plate and swallowing her saliva. "How about I cut you a plate of roast suckling pig and some lobster?" Cai Hongming said kindly. "No, I'm losing weight recently. I can't eat anything with fat." The girl shook her head repeatedly and then whispered, "How about you go get me some fruit salad? My mother is outside and I'm afraid she will see me and pull me out again. I'm really too hungry to walk." "Okay." So Cai Hongming went to serve her a bowl of fruit salad and a glass of juice. The girl said thank you. She took the salad and held it in front of her and ate it greedily. Cai Hongming swore that he had never seen a girl eat like this. That is to scoop food directly into her mouth with a spoon. She looked like a starving ghost, which made her hungry, so she started eating. After finishing the plate of roast suckling pork, she felt still not full, so she went out to cut the roast suckling pig. When she came to the table and just cut a few slices of roast suckling pork, she noticed someone coming. Turning around, it was Healing, the screenwriter of Seduin. "Where did you go just now? I looked for you everywhere." "Eating over there, is there something wrong?" Cai Hongming asked while slicing roast suckling pork. "I have written the script you want. Take a look." After saying that, Healing took out a roll of something from her pocket and handed it to him. When Cai Hongming was acting, he suddenly got an inspiration, so he wrote down some things in his life and planned to make it into a movie. But he didn't know how to write a script, so he asked Healing to help find someone to write it. After filming at Zhengzheng for so long, the two of them became familiar with each other, and he said that there was no need to find someone else, he could do it himself. Cai Hongming didn't care, so he gave him what he wrote and dictated it to him. After hearing this, Healing took her things and left. There has been no news from her until today. Cai Hongming didn't understand the script either. After reading it, he felt that it was much clearer than his own. It also marked out the locations and characters. Everything was very detailed. "I think your script is good. Do you want to find someone to invest? If you need, I can introduce you to a few people. How much do you think it would cost to make a movie out of the script?" Cai Hongming didn't respond, but asked. "It depends on who you hire to shoot it. If it's not a big star, I think it will be between 50 and 10 million. It's not a lot. I can invest it myself." "What are you talking about?" As the two were talking, Fan Bingbing came over. Today she put on makeup and wore a beautiful dress. Under the lights at night, she looked charming and worthy of being a leading heroine. Hongming asked me to write a script, and we were talking about it. Healing said with a smile. What script? Can I see it? Of course. Cai Hongming handed over the script. Fan Bingbing put the long-legged wine glass in her hand on the table next to her and read the script carefully. A person's success is never a fluke, and her seriousness alone deserves recognition. After a while, Fan Bingbing looked up and said, "The script is good. Is it your new work, screenwriter?" No, it's Hongming's idea. I just helped him summarize it. Oh, I didn't expect you to be so talented, Hongming. The two of them were very familiar with each other, so Fan Bingbing said half jokingly, "These are just some things in life. I think it's fun, so I wrote them and plan to make them into a film. What do you think? Not bad. You said it's something from your life, then. Is this blind date being beaten also?" Fan Bingbing pointed to a section of the script and asked with a smile. Cai Hongming scratched his head a little embarrassedly. I didn't know who the blind date was when I went there. When I entered the coffee shop, I saw a beautiful girl sitting alone, and I thought it was her. Who knew that it was not her? After I finished eating. At that time, Wana, the blind date, was watching next to me. In the end, she couldn't stand it and ran over to punch me. My eyes were black at that time, really black. It should be black. Fan Bingbing laughed when he heard it, and so did Healing. What are you laughing at? It's so funny. Liu came over at this time. Hongming used his life experience to ask our gold medal screenwriter to write a script. It's quite funny. Take a look. Fan Bingbing handed the script to her. Is it okay? Liu took the script and asked Cai Hongming. Some people are very strict about keeping the script confidential. Even the actors don't know what the content of the script is until the end. After taking it, they have to sign a confidentiality contract or something like that. Liu has been in this industry for a long time, so she naturally knows these things, so she asked this question. But this was nothing to Cai Hongming, and he trusted the character of several people, so he nodded without any worries. Liu looked at it and felt good, so she looked up and said, "Boss K, do you need an investment?" If you need it, I can also invest some money here. Fan Bingbing also said beside him. Aren't you afraid of losing money? Cai Hongming said strangely. This script is good. It will never lose money. It just depends on how much you make. Fan Bingbing said decisively, revealing the agility of a strong woman. To be continued. Chapter 102. First female work. Being a star is not easy. Before becoming famous, you have to run around to make money and fame, and even ask others to give you a chance to film or to fight for a chance to become famous. When you become famous, you have to face all kinds of temptations of fame and fortune, and sometimes you have to face the crushing of power. You are afraid of being recognized when shopping, and afraid of being photographed when staying in a hotel, and afraid of accidentally causing a pornographic scandal. So you are trembling with fear every moment, for fear of ruining the image you have cultivated for many years, and also afraid that your hard work will be gone in an instant. But even so, there are still many people who throw themselves into it like moths to a flame. Everyone knows that the star industry is mostly a job for young people. Those who have a skill, such as singing or acting, may be able to spend their lives with it. Those who don't, most of them start looking for side jobs after making money. Some speculate in real estate or stocks, some open hotels, restaurants, and cafes, and some continue to invest in the turbulent waves of the entertainment industry. For example, the studio established by Fan Bingbing is like this. Working for others is not as pleasant as being your own boss, so many celebrities have established their own studios. Based on Fan Bingbing's shrewdness and Liu's years of experience in filming, they can naturally see the quality of the script in Cai Hongming's hands, so they all want to invest some money, to earn some pocket money. Cai Hongming heard what they said, thought about it, and said, "How about this? You each invest 2.5 million, and I personally invest 10 million, a total of 15 million to shoot this movie. I don't think it will take that much, because I want the actors and the script to come and play. However, no matter how much the remaining money is, it will be invested in the promotion of the film. If it is not enough, I can personally invest a little more. After all, it is my and my wife's first film and television work, and it can't be left unknown. Right. I have no objection. Liu Yifei responded. I have no objection. Fan Bingbing nodded and said, in my opinion, this film can be shot at your place, which can reduce a lot of costs. In addition, if the actors and the script are used, it will save a lot of money. The remaining money can also be used for publicity, but some professional actors should be added to the film. Only when they lead these inexperienced people can the film be shot well. That's no problem. You also need to help find a better director. I'm not familiar with this. As for the distribution, it may depend on you at that time. I know nothing about these. I'll find a way for this. Fan Bingbing said. That's good. Then we need to find someone to manage the money. Let's see if you or Yifei can find someone to come over. I don't have time to deal with these trivial matters. Since they are investing in making a movie together, it is better to sort out the money so as not to end up arguing over money. That would be boring. Yifei, do you have anyone there? Fan Bingbing asked Liu Yifei. Don't ask me for this kind of thing. I'm the most impatient with these things. Besides, I don't have any good candidates here. Bingbing, just transfer someone from the studio. Fan Bingbing thought for a moment. Okay, when will we shoot? At least we have to wait until my wife gives birth, which is probably next year. The weather there won't start to warm up until April. How about we start shooting in April next year? What do you think? No problem. Fan Bingbing and Liu Yifei nodded. Then I'll find the director first and ask him to set up the team. As for the filming location, you are more familiar with the Northwest, so you can handle it. Yifei and I will figure out the campus part. What do you think? No problem for me. No problem for me either. Then it's settled. Sometimes doing business is just that simple. It's just a matter of a few words. Several people clinked their glasses to celebrate the cooperation of the three. Fan Bingbing and Liu Yifei were the focus of the scene. From time to time, people came to talk to them, even healing, so Cai Hongming seemed to be alone. He didn't know anyone. She was not from this circle either, so they had no common topics. He didn't want to approach and talk to others, so he nodded to Fan Bingbing and Liu Yifei who were talking, took the roast suckling pork he cut and left. When he returned to where he was sitting, he found that his seat had been taken by a girl. After the girl was full, she felt sleepy, so she took Cai Hongming's hidden position and leaned against him, wanting to take a nap, but she fell asleep unexpectedly. When Cai Hongming saw her, he saw a crystal thread at the corner of her mouth, which kept falling to the ground, which looked very funny. Although it was immoral to wake others up, seeing her like this, Cai Hongming felt that he still had to maintain the pure image of the girl in front of him, so he kicked her with his foot. The girl woke up hazily, rubbed her eyes, frowned and asked Cai Hongming, "Why did you kick me? You are drooling." Cai Hongming kindly pointed to the corner of her mouth. The girl wiped the corner of her mouth, and sure enough, there was saliva. Her face turned red, and she lowered her head and dared not look at anyone. It was so embarrassing that she wished there was a pile of sand in front of her eyes so she could bury her head in it. Cai Hongming handed over a tissue in a friendly manner. The girl felt even more ashamed, wiped it casually with the tissue, and ran away. Cai Hongming found it funny. He didn't expect that the girl had such a tender face. Isn't it said that people in this circle are very thick-skinned? After the wrap-up party, the crew and some stars who came to the party said they wanted to go sing. Cai Hongming didn't want to go at first because he didn't want to go to such a noisy place, and he had to admit that he didn't sing Mandarin songs well, and his accent was very heavy. But since Fan Bingbing, Liu Yifei and others were going, he had no reason not to be proud, so he went along with them. The place to sing was a very luxurious club. It was said that it was opened by a big man in the circle, and it was very safe. They asked for a luxurious private room, which was decorated very luxuriously, and it would not be an exaggeration to say that it was extravagant. The middle wall is a huge LCD screen. The front can be used as a dance floor. There is a piano next to it. On the other side are various musical instruments, both Chinese and foreign. Some of them are not even recognized by Cai Hongming. At night, people can let go of many things. When they arrive at this place, everyone puts down their reserve and affectation during the day and reveals their true nature. So, those who sing, those who play finger guessing games, those who drink, those who chat, and those who eat, those who come, are all people in the entertainment industry. Cai Hongming only knows Fan Bingbing, Liu Yifei, Yuan Ping and others. He is not familiar with others, so he doesn't get bored and gathers together. He eats and watches them play. Liu Yifei's temperament is the same. He likes to stay alone quietly. Seeing him sitting there doing nothing, he moved over. Since you are here, why don't you sing a song? My friends who know me say that my singing voice is beautiful and moving, like the yellow sand in the desert, like the waves of the sea, and it is amazing. If I don't sing, it's fine. But once I sing, the birds in the mountains have flown away, and the people in the paths have disappeared. Liu Yifei smiled and said, your friend is really interesting. That's right. These people are obviously jealous. In fact, my singing voice is not bad, but my accent is too strong. Cai Hongming praised himself without blushing or breathing. As he was talking, the door of the private room was suddenly opened, and a stranger walked in. The man looked around and apologized. Sorry, I went to the wrong door. After saying that, he closed the door and left. This was an accidental incident, and the people in the private room didn't take it seriously. But Cai Hongming's intuition told him that there was something wrong with this person and the matter was not that simple. Generally speaking, there are waiters outside such luxurious private rooms. Even if he didn't see the door number, he should have seen the waiter. How could he have found the wrong place? Seeing that no one cared, he did not say anything and continued to chat with Liu Yifei. During this time, Cai Hongming also sang 2-minute songs and boldly sang a song in Mandarin. This shocked the people below, as can be seen from Liu Yifei's expression of wanting to laugh. It seems that his level still needs to be improved. At this time, Cai Hongming had to look at his deafening voice fairly. Liu Yifei seemed to be shocked by Cai Hongming's voice, and also went up to find a song and sang. Sitting below, looking at Liu Yifei, who is now in her prime, Cai Hongming had to admit that his heart had beaten. In fact, he has always had a good impression of her. He likes her purity, her truthfulness, and her innocence. I believe that there are few men who don't like such a girl with almost no shortcomings. It's a pity that he already has a wife, otherwise he would not be able to pursue her, because they are not from the same world. Even if Cai Hongming is helpless, he has to admit this. To be continued, chapter 103, Small Turbulence. I cried countless tears, and I cried several times, turning into a butterfly, resting on this fallen leaf. The snow that was weathered, was buried thousands of years ago. I spent my whole life missing you, just waiting for you to appear. The memories gradually faded, and fell beside me, unable to wake up the pictures that were still beating. Let me stay on the edge of reincarnation, waiting for a ray of light, to see the prophecy we once said to each other in a certain year and month. Let it take you away, and become our commemoration. Who can find that my world once had your face? Liu Yifei stood in front of the large LCD screen in the middle and sang intoxicatedly. Although her voice was not very outstanding at this moment, perhaps because she was really in love, this episode of The Star of Sheep was indeed sung with a hint of flavor by her. The people who were still playing rock paper scissors and chatting began to listen quietly. Bang! At this time, the door was suddenly opened, and a group of people rushed in. The first person looked around and saw Liu Yifei singing. He grinned and said, I didn't expect to be so lucky today. I met so many big stars. It's a blessing. It's better to share happiness with others than to enjoy it alone. Sister Xiangsan, come, brothers Ioyao will sing a song with you. As he said that, he walked towards Liu Yifei and reached out to hug her. If you dare to touch her, you'll be dead. Liu Yifei said with a cold face. People who know her or know her background might be scared to retreat after hearing this, but she obviously doesn't know that there are still some people in this world who are not afraid of death and don't play by the rules. When the man heard her words, he stopped moving, and suddenly a sharp light flashed in his eyes. His face turned cold, and he walked towards her faster, reaching out to grab her. Everyone didn't expect him to be so bold. They all shouted, and some even stood up to protect each other, but they were all stopped by the people behind him. Seeing that Liu Yifei was about to be bullied, at this moment, everyone felt a flash in front of their eyes, and Cai Hongming appeared in front of Liu Yifei. Kick forward. In an instant, the man was kicked out. Cai Hongming knew the limit, and did not use too much force, so the man only felt chest pain when he fell to the ground, and was not hurt. He thought that the man would retreat, but he did not expect that the man actually shouted, "Chop that kid for me." After hearing this, the people behind him rushed towards Cai Hongming. Really ungrateful, Cai Hongming did not hold back. He clenched his right hand and brought his 5 fingers together. Like a crane's beak, he quickly pointed out and pecked on the tendons of the person in front. It can be seen that the crane's beak tapped 3 times. This is called the crane's beak triple force. Each force will be superimposed on each other and applied to the person, destroying the tendons of the body. It seems nothing, but after a while, there will be problems at the location that was pecked. Although it will not lead to hemiplegia or inability to move the hands and feet. But the place that was tapped cannot be used in the future, otherwise it will be abnormally sore. This is also a lesson for them. He moved quickly, blocking with his left hand and tapping with his right hand. It was like a spinning wheel of fire. After just a moment, the people who rushed over were knocked to the ground by him and fainted. The people behind were almost scared to death and turned around and ran. Cai Hongming took a step. In an instant, he came to the door, blocked the people, and then beat them to the ground with left and right. When he came to the man who was about to attack Liu Yifei, he was annoyed and used a little more force. He slapped the man on the temple and knocked him to the ground and fainted. Wow, Hongming, you are so powerful. I thought you were just a show off. Fan Bingbing said in surprise. Thank you. Liu Yifei came over and said. The celebrities who were not familiar with him also came over to greet him. After this incident, he was considered to be integrated into their small circle. Let's go. In case something happens again. Fan Bingbing suggested. After this incident, everyone lost interest in playing and nodded when they heard her words. So everyone left and no one paid attention to the people lying in the private room. It was not until the waiter went to the private room to clean up that he found a group of people lying on the ground. He thought they were dead and screamed loudly, but he didn't expect that someone was awakened by the sound and stood up. The waiter probably watched too many horror movies and thought it was a zombie. He was so scared that his eyes rolled up and he fainted on the ground. The waiter outside heard the screams and ran over and found the waiter lying on the ground in the group of people who were knocked unconscious. He knew a few of them and hurriedly called the boss. As for what happened afterwards, it was unknown. Cai Hongming went back to the hotel after separating from the others. He originally wanted to calm down and practice the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua Secret Text Jinbei Internal Alchemy Ju, but he didn't expect that. After practicing for a while, he gained nothing except farting a few more times. No wonder it is said that the city is a cemetery for practitioners. As expected, it seems that if you want to practice, you still have to practice in a place with few people. He originally thought that there would be trouble with the beating, but he didn't expect that there would be no trouble at all. In this way, he was relieved and continued to wander around the capital. When you go to Beijing, in addition to various tourist attractions, antique markets are a must-see. There are 2 antique markets with the longest history and the most prestigious in Beijing. One is Panjiayuan and the other is Liulichang. Panjiayuan Flea Market was formed in the 1990s and then gradually grew into the largest antique and second-hand goods market in China. Later, it evolved into a holiday specialty market. It is a treasure land for Chinese and foreign people who like antiques and antiques to pan for gold. Stores and shops in Panjiayuan Market are open 365 days a year, and stores are open every weekend. The daily passenger flow on weekends reaches 60,000 to 70,000 people, including nearly 10,000 foreign guests. Tourists of different skin colors, different languages, different classes, and different beliefs converge here. Today is the weekend, and people come and go in the market. It can be said that they are shoulder to shoulder and sweating. Cai Hongming walked casually. He has always been interested in old things, but he swears that he has never seen so many old things. It can be said that there is everything here. Everything you have seen and have not seen is here. There were all kinds of strange and wonderful things, and the sight was overwhelming. As he walked, he suddenly saw a stall selling weapons, which had knives, swords, hammers, maces, hooks, forks, and all kinds of weapons. At this time, he remembered the sword he got from the bottom of the dark river. The wood on the hilt and the scabbard were rotten, and he had to find someone to repair it. But the people at this stall were definitely not good enough. If the things were accidentally stolen, he would be in tears. Thinking of this, he continued to walk forward and see where there was someone who could help people repair swords. Beijing is worthy of being the political and cultural center of China. There are so many foreigners. After walking for a while, he saw many people of different skin colors and speaking different languages. Among them, there are many beautiful women with beautiful faces, sexy waists and slightly exposed buttocks, which make people think about it. Of course, he is not that lustful, but it does not prevent him from appreciating beauty. As he was walking, the jade bead between his eyebrows suddenly emitted a ray of light. What's going on? Cai Hongming felt strange, but didn't know what was going on, so he continued to walk forward. After walking for a while, the light gradually weakened, and then stepped back. The light began to grow stronger. After trying it back and forth several times, he found that the reason for the light to grow stronger seemed to come from a small stall selling sundries nearby, so he walked over. To be continued. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 104, Jade Pixie. Cai Hongming thought that the stall selling sundries was actually selling miscellaneous items among antiques, also known as miscellaneous pieces. In the category of antiques, in addition to ceramics, handicraft collections that can be played with, including bronze, jade, furniture, embroidery, etc., can all be called miscellaneous pieces. The thing that induced the jade bead between the eyebrows to shine was on the stall, but there were many things on the stall, and Cai Hongming didn't know which one it was. So he squatted in front of the stall. The stall was filled with a pile of various handicrafts such as gold, silver, copper, iron, and jade. In order to judge what made the jade bead glow, he pretended to pick up the things on the stall one by one and looked at them. After a while, he found the thing that made the jade bead between the eyebrows shine. It was a jade pixie. The jade quality was not very good, with yellow soil stains on it, and it looked good. The jade pixie came in pairs, so he grabbed the other one, but that one couldn't make the jade bead glow. He tried to grab other things, but it still didn't work. It seemed that only that one could attract the jade bead. The stall owner was a middle-aged man who seemed bored. He took a book from somewhere and started reading. Cai Hongming picked up the jade pixie and asked, "Boss, how much is this?" Although the boss was reading a book, he was watching Cai Hongming's every move. When he heard his question, he said, "This is a jade pixie from the Han Dynasty. The price is a bit high." From the Han Dynasty? Cai Hongming didn't understand these things. He grabbed the jade pixie and took a few glances. It didn't look like a thing from the Han Dynasty. "Boss, I'm not a collector and I don't understand these things. I just think this thing is beautiful and want to buy it back to play with. Tell me how much it costs. If it's suitable, I'll buy it. If not, forget it. You don't look like an expert." The stall owner thought to himself and said, "Then I'll give you a discount of 3,000 yuan. The people who set up stalls here have a consensus. That is, kill the living, but not the familiar. Cheat foreigners but never the Chinese. Cheat the elderly, women and children, but never the young. Especially those young people with murderous faces. Because these young people are fierce. If you cheat them too badly, they don't care that you are under the feet of the emperor, the capital of China, and they will beat you anyway. Even if you go to the police station, at most you will be fined and detained, and you will be released in a few days. But you will be beaten, and lose a few days of business. It's not worth it anyway." So it's said that doing business is about making money in harmony. When meeting such a person, everyone would lower the price, at most a little more than the original price, not daring to cheat too much. Cai Hongming looked at the jade pixie in front of him, which was only about 10 centimeters long, and felt that 3,000 yuan was too expensive. The jade was not a good jade. The Haitian mutton fat jade he picked up was free. He sold this broken jade for 3,000. Is there any justice in the world? People who can set up stalls here are very good at observing words and expressions. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are masters of psychology. Seeing Cai Hongming's hesitation, they knew that he was close to his psychological price. So, he took the initiative to say, "Young man, since you are sincere about buying, I will reduce it by another 200. Take 2,800. It can't be less. I just earned a little money from your food expenses. Any less will be a loss." Why did Cai Hongming feel that these words were so familiar, as if they were a bit like the shouting of a street sale? 2008 is still too expensive. This thing is not worth that much money. 300. If you think it's okay, I'll take it away, Cai Hongming said, and then asked worriedly, "Boss, you carved this out of stone. Don't be like those wicked guys who use glass and resin to fool people." Young man, look at what you said. This is jade, not stone or glass resin. If you buy it and find out it's not jade, you can bring it back and smash it at me. Of course, he didn't say whether it was good jade. But 300 is too low. This won't work. The stall owner continued. Then 500. If it doesn't work, I can't do anything about it. After saying that, Cai Hongming put down the jade pixie in his hand and pretended to leave. Hey, young man, why are you in such a hurry? 500 is 500. Seeing your sincerity, I will sell it to you at a loss. I hope you will come back next time. Of course. Cai Hongming responded casually, but in fact, even he himself didn't know when he would come next time. The stall owner found a box, packed the jade pixie and handed it to Cai Hongming. The money was paid, and the goods were delivered at the same time. It was quite formal. Cai Hongming took the box, took out the jade pixie with glowing jade beads, and looked at it in the sun. Unfortunately, he could not see any tricks, no matter how he looked at it. He just felt that the jade pixie seemed to contain something. The stall owner took the money to take a look, turned around and saw that he was still here, and said, "Don't worry, young man, this is definitely jade. Everyone here knows that what I, Liu, sell are real things. It is real, but it is definitely not an antique." In Cai Hongming's hand, the jade pixie, except for one that he collected from other places, one of them was carved by him using a machine. It was just a toy worth dozens of yuan, but it suddenly became 500 yuan. He made a fortune. Cai Hongming heard his words, nodded, and was about to put away the things. Suddenly, someone called out from behind, "Young man, please wait. Can you show me what you have in your hand?" Cai Hongming turned around and saw an old man in his 70s who had come to his side at some point, followed by a young man wearing round sunglasses. It seemed that he was too proud of himself and didn't even notice someone was around. If there was a fight, he didn't know how many times he would be beaten up. "Young man, can you show me the jade pixie in your hand?" the old man said again. Cai Hongming glanced at him and didn't want to give it to him, because since this jade pixie could make the jade beads glow, it must be a very extraordinary thing. What if it was broken? So he was more cautious, put down the jade pixie in his hand, took out another one, and handed it to him. "Young man, I'm talking about that one." The old man pointed at the jade pixie he put down, and said with a smile, "Isn't it different?" Cai Hongming pretended to be stupid. "Of course it's different. I didn't expect the old man to be so discerning. After thinking about it, I wasn't afraid that he would take it away, so I handed over the jade pixie that made the jade beads glow, and didn't forget to tell him, be careful." The young man wearing sunglasses next to him couldn't bear to watch it, so he said, "Don't worry, if there is a problem, we will definitely compensate you." "Do you think I look like someone who is short of money?" Cai Hongming said with a sidelong glance. The young man smiled and didn't say anything, but his eyes clearly said that he was short of money, very short of money. Seeing that he didn't say anything else, Cai Hongming didn't bother to argue with him. Question mark? The old man took the jade pixie and looked at it carefully, as if he wanted to engrave every color and every pattern on it into his mind. After a while, the old man returned the jade pixie to Cai Hongming and then asked, "This jade pixie is good. Are you willing to sell it? Why are they not a pair? You must have been deceived that one and this one are not a pair." The old man was too lazy to say anything about such fake things, and only the so-called rookies would think they were a pair. "Really?" Cai Hongming said lightly. The owner of the store next to him heard their conversation and was about to explain, but seeing that Cai Hongming didn't care, he sat down again. Cai Hongming is a rookie, but he is not a fool. He had already noticed that the two were not a pair through the light emitted by the jade beads. The reason why he asked the old man this was just to test him. He didn't mean to sell the jade pixie, so he put it away. The old man saw him put the things away and suddenly became anxious. "Young man, why don't you consider it? An old friend of mine has a jade pixie like yours. If he adds yours, it will make a pair. Think about it. If it doesn't exceed 50,000, I can help him buy it." The stall owner was stunned when he heard this. He thought he had killed a rookie today, but he didn't expect that it was him, the old bird, who was blind and personally let the treasure flow out. In an instant, he regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. When Cai Hongming heard what the old man said, he didn't say a word because he couldn't sell the jade pixie at all. So after putting the things away, he said to the old man, "Sorry, I won't sell this thing." After that, he turned around and left. 80,000, young man, at most 80,000, it can't be higher. Besides, it's useless for you to keep one jade pixie. It's worth a pair. Seeing that he was about to leave, the old man hurriedly shouted behind him. Who would have thought that Cai Hongming didn't even listen and just left? "Mr. Zun, it's just a jade pixie. There are many places to sell it. Is it necessary to do this?" The young man next to him said to the old man. "What do you know?" Mr. Zun shouted angrily. In fact, he said that his old friend had a similar jade pixie, which was nonsense. It was just an excuse to buy the jade pixie in Cai Hongming's hand. Who would have thought that he would be so stubborn and refuse to sell it? He just looked at the jade pixie and found that it was indeed a product of the Han Dynasty. It had typical Han Dynasty carving techniques. Not only that, he also found that the jade pixie was covered with hidden patterns which could not be seen without careful observation. There seemed to be ancient characters in the hidden patterns. It was just that he was in a hurry at that time, and he didn't have time to see clearly what the hidden pattern said. The value of such a jade pixie is not only the texture and history of the jade pixie itself, but also has added value. Just like the ancient tripod, the value of inscriptions and no inscriptions is completely different. Besides, if he buys this thing and studies it, he might find something important. At least he has not found such hidden patterns on other things. It's a pity that they don't sell it. After leaving the stall, Cai Hongming continued to stroll in the antique market. He thought that, since there was something that could make the jade beads glow, he might be able to find some treasures. Unfortunately, the idea is good, but the reality is often cruel. He went back and forth to many stalls several times, but he didn't find anything that could make the jade beads glow. To be continued, Chapter 105, King Iron Languan. Cai Hongming was just about to go to an antique market to see if he could find something that would make the jade beads glow, but unfortunately his cell phone rang. "Hello, where are you?" "Here at Panjian." "Are you busy at noon?" "No." "Then wait over there, I'll come find you and take you to lunch later." It was Xinjin Rao who called, saying that she would treat him to lunch at noon. Cai Hongming listened and casually walked around waiting for her. She came very quickly and called him to go to the door soon. Cai Hongming walked to the door and saw a cool royal blue sports car parked there. He didn't think it was Xinjin Rao's car, so he called and asked her where she was. Unexpectedly, the car door opened at this time. Xinjin Rao was sitting in the driver's seat in a soft gauze dress. "Come in. Why are you standing there like an idiot?" "Oh." Cai Hongming stupidly opened the car door and got in, feeling as if he had never known her before. Xinjin Rao at this moment was as different from the image he remembered as heaven and earth. Xinjin Rao was about to drive when suddenly someone rushed over from the side and lay on the car. Cai Hongming found that this man was the young man who had just gone shopping with the old man. The young man was overjoyed to see Xinjin Rao and immediately moved from the front of the car to the window. "Sister Rao, it's really you. If I hadn't seen your car, I would have thought I had recognized the wrong person. Sister, when did you come back? How come I didn't know? Where are you going? Give me a ride." Xinjin Rao glanced at him, but didn't refuse. She opened the door and let him in. "Sister, your car is really nice. It's still so clean after not driving for so long, and even the air is so fresh." As he said that, he pretended to take a breath of air. Cai Hongming was speechless. He didn't know how to evaluate this flattery. "No need to flatter. Where are you going?" Xinjin Rao said lightly. "It's on the way anyway. By the way, where are you going?" "To eat." "That's perfect. I haven't eaten yet, Sister Rao. How about we eat together?" The young man looked at Xinjin Rao's face and saw that she didn't refuse, so he continued, "Cease, you rarely come back. Don't be polite to me. I'll treat you today. You said it." Xinjin Rao heard this, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. "Of course. That's good. I was thinking that I was poor recently and was afraid of not having money to eat. I didn't expect that someone would pay the bill." "That's great," Xinjin Rao said as she started the car and introduced Cai Hongming. "This is my former neighbor's younger brother, Lei Hengchang. Hengchang, this is Cai Hongming. Don't you have a film company? Hongming is acting. If there is any supporting role, you can ask him." "No. How can my friend be a supporting role? It's so embarrassing. He should at least be a supporting role." "No need. I'm not specialized in this industry. To be honest, filming is too tiring. It's better to stay at home," Cai Hongming said quickly. This is what he really said. Filming is not only tiring, but also hard. If the weather conditions are bad, it doesn't matter. But if you fail to pass once during filming, and you are forced to shoot more than 10 or 20 times or even a whole morning, that's tiring. So he resolutely refuses to film for others, unless the money is high, or he invests it himself. Otherwise, the effort and reward are simply not proportional. "I forgot that you are a big boss," Xinjin Rao teased. "Big bosses may not earn as much as you. Look at this sports car. It's enough for me to work hard for a whole year." "Really? Don't think I don't know about you, because I'm in the store all day. People in the town say that you have found a treasure pot. The monthly income of that store alone is about 500,000, and sometimes it reaches about 1 million in the golden month. What are you busy with? I heard from Wana that you spend all day eating and sleeping, or wandering around, and you are very free. Are you still in contact with her?" Cai Hongming was stunned when he heard it. "Of course, we are good friends." "What? Is it not possible?" No. Cai Hongming didn't understand. How could these two unrelated people be linked together? Could it be that he was beaten during a blind date, which led to their ill-fated relationship? Oh, it was friendship. Then he was really in a tragedy. The blue sports car was driving a little slowly in the city, but once it got on the ring road, the speed soared. Cai Hongming only heard the roar of the sports car and arrived at the foot of a mountain in the suburbs. He didn't understand why these people liked to run to the mountainside. The last time Fan Bingbing brought him to dinner, she did the same. Lei Hengchang saw Xinjin Rao driving the car over here, and his face suddenly fell. "Sister Rao, why are you here? I don't have much money recently. You can't rip me off. Look at you. It's just a meal. Why are you so unmanly? Are you still a Beijing man?" "No, sister, I'm really poor recently. I just invested in a few dramas, and the old man is going to celebrate his birthday, so the money will be gone like water, right? So, Sister Rao, can we make a deal? You can order anything below 100,000, and I can't do anything if it's above 100,000. Are you really that poor? Really poor, sister? Can I still cheat you?" Lei Hengchang said with a bitter face. "Then you don't have to treat me. Sister is not a person who lacks money." "Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister." Lei Hengchang thanked him. He was afraid that she would rip him off. People who don't know will say how much it costs to eat a meal here, but people who know will never dare to think so. This meal can make people go bankrupt. The car continued to drive up and stopped at almost the top. An ancient building appeared in front of him. Cai Hongming felt that it looked like a Taoist temple. There is a large parking lot in front of the Taoist temple, with many luxury cars parked in front. The three people got out of the car, and Xinjin Rao walked in first. When he arrived at the door, Cai Hongming looked up and saw the four big characters Qingyan Langyuan written on it. May you be blessed with infinite blessings, and all the donors are honored. Just as he stepped into the Taoist temple, a Taoist nun suddenly flashed out from the door, waved her whisk, bowed her head, and called out the Taoist name. Cai Hongming saw it, and hurriedly bowed respectfully and said, "May you be blessed with infinite blessings, and the Taoist nun is honored." When he shouted like this, the other three people were stunned. The Taoist temple was silent, and then burst into laughter. Cai Hongming looked at the three of them in confusion. What's so funny? Did he say it wrong? Isn't that how all Taoists shout? Jin Rao, where did this guy come from? Why is he so stupid? The Taoist man asked Xinjin Rao with her arms around her stomach and laughed. What nonsense are you talking about? This is my friend Hongming. This is my friend Qingyan. This is her store, not a Taoist temple. It's not a Taoist temple. Cai Hongming was puzzled. This was obviously a Taoist temple, but there were no statues of gods. However, the walls were engraved with portraits of gods. Was he really wrong? Cai Hongming touched the back of his head in confusion. Seeing him like this, Qingyan couldn't help laughing again. After laughing, she turned to Lei Hengchang and said, "Little monkey, didn't I hear that you were holding a birthday party for your grandfather? Why are you here? Is your sister Rao back and wants to treat everyone to a meal?" This. Lei Hengchang was so anxious that he was sweating all over his forehead. He didn't know whether to say yes or no. Xinjin Rao watched from the side, pushed Qingyan, and said, "Okay, don't tease him anymore. Did you save the place I told you to save for me? Even if others don't save it, you have to save it for us Rao. Otherwise, you will skin me alive. Then why are you still here? Go over." So Qingyan led the way and the few people walked in. After passing through the front hall, there is a wide patio behind, with corridors on both sides. There are several big trees planted in the patio. Under the trees, there are ocaries, green bamboos or trees to separate the areas. There are stone tables and stone chairs with soft cushions on them. At this time, some people are sitting on the stone tables and stone chairs, making tea and eating. Although there is a distance, Cai Hongming can still smell the fragrance of tea coming from there. Behind the patio is a hall, which is also a place for eating. On the left side of the hall is the kitchen, where the chef makes fresh food on the spot. On the right side is a table for eating. There is an empty space in the middle, where people play the piano and dance. Although it is a dish, the tables and chairs in the hall are not made into a sitting style like Japanese cuisine, but like in ancient China. There is a couch next to it, and a low table in front. Each style is different, and is placed very wide. The space looks very spacious and elegant, without the feeling of being small and cramped in a city hotel. Qingyan did not stop here, but led them directly past the hall, and went to the back. To be continued, Chapter 106, Qingyan Langyuan, Part 2. To Cai Hongming, Qingyan Langyuan really looks like a Taoist temple. In addition to the red walls and golden tiles, there are carved beams and painted buildings. There are also various patterns of gods and immortals painted everywhere in the temple. In some places, there is a big Tao character and a Teikai Bagua diagram. But it doesn't look like a Taoist temple, because it doesn't have statues of gods, no fuel tanks, and no incense burners for people to burn incense and worship. But no matter what, a woman in a Taoist robe is leading the way. It's hard not to think that this is a Taoist temple. However, thinking about it makes people feel relieved. When he was in southern Fujian, he saw a McDonald's that turned the ancestral hall where people had worshipped their ancestors for generations into a store. So it's not so strange that this Taoist temple has become a restaurant. However, he has always had a question. That is, McDonald's sells things in the ancestral hall. Isn't it afraid that the ancestors will come out to eat at night? There is another palace behind the main hall. Qingyan did not stay there, but passed through a round archway behind the main hall. Behind them was a foothill with lush green grass, green trees and cool breeze. From a distance, a 5-cornered stone pavilion was hidden in the bushes. When the group walked to the stone pavilion, Cai Hongming looked up and found that the stone pavilion was made entirely of stone. The top of the pavilion was engraved with 5 flying fairies. It was very simple and did not look like a newly built building. Shenjin Rao saw Cai Hongming's expression all the way here. Seeing that he was still full of doubts, she smiled and said, "Don't look. This is really not a Taoist temple. But there was a small Taoist temple here before, but it was unfortunately demolished by the Red Guards. Later, King Gan bought it and built it like this to do business. The only thing that has not changed here is this stone pavilion. It was like this before, but it was slightly renovated later. But to be honest, apart from worshipping, this place is no different from a Taoist temple, because its main theme is the Taoist health concept of the unity of man and nature. So it can also be said to be a Taoist temple, a place for practicing Taoism." Cai Hongming listened and nodded in understanding. After Xinjin Rao finished speaking, she said to King Gan, "King Gan, ask someone to bring a tea set and some spring water. I'll let you taste the good tea I brought today. You must have never drunk it." "Huh, I haven't drunk it? That's difficult." Although she said so, she still took out a walkie-talkie from her pocket and asked the people below to send up the tea set and spring water. There was electricity in the pavilion. After waiting for the things to be sent up, she arranged the tea set and boiled water in a kettle. Xinjin Rao took out a small round box from her pocket, then took out a tea pill from it and put it in the teacup. When Cai Hongming saw the tea pill she took out, his eyes suddenly widened. "This is not." Xinjin Rao couldn't help but smile when she saw him like this. "This tea pill smells good." Nowadays, people pursue individuality and force tea leaves into various shapes, such as triangles, squares, cones, ovals, circles, etc. There are so many shapes. King Gan has seen everything, but this is the first time she has seen a tea pill that smells so good. Xinjin Rao ignored her. "Put the tea balls in and brew it." A more intense aroma wafts out from the teacup. Fermented tea does not require all the complicated procedures like fried green tea. It only needs to be washed quickly, and it can be drunk. When she poured the tea into the celadon bamboo hat cup, King Gan couldn't wait to pick it up. With a light sniff, the fragrance of tea rushed into the nose, and it seemed that there was more than just tea in the fragrance. It seemed to have a hint of something else, but mixed together, it was like a match made in heaven. Take a sip, the tongue is gently disturbed and swallowed into the stomach. It's like a fairy medicine, with a feeling of fragrance all over the body, and the whole person feels comfortable and energetic. Good tea. King Gan couldn't help but praise, and she had to say that she really hadn't drunk this kind of tea. "The water is good," Cai Hongming said, after drinking the tea. "Tea balls are worm tea pulled out by little fat worms. Of course he has drunk it, but this water is different, even better than the well water over there." He didn't know that this water was not ordinary water. When the ancients made tea, they paid great attention to the water they used, and they were even more demanding about the water quality, which should be clear, active, and light. The so-called clear means that it looks bright, quiet, clear, and dirt-free, and it is not turbid when it is stirred. If the water quality is not clean, the tea soup will be turbid. Only when the water quality is clean and free of impurities, transparent and colorless, can the true color of tea be revealed. The so-called active means that there is a source of flowing water, not static water, such as pond water. Static water is easily contaminated by foreign objects, breeding bacteria, viruses, and pests, so it is not suitable for drinking to avoid getting sick. The so-called light means that the texture is light and good water that floats on the surface. The bad water is heavy and sinks to the bottom, which is what we now call soft water and hard water. Modern science believes that water containing more than 8 milligrams of magnesium ions and calcium per liter is called hard water, and vice versa. In nature, only snow water, rain water, and dew water are pure soft water. The ancients have always liked to use this kind of water to make tea. Now it seems that there is really a little scientific reason. Practice has shown that using soft water to brew tea will give the tea soup a good color, aroma, and taste, while using hard water to brew tea will cause the tea soup to change color, and the color, aroma, and taste of the tea will be greatly reduced. The weight of water should also include the amount of other mineral components contained in the water. For example, iron salt solutions and alkaline solutions can increase the weight of water. If you use water containing too much iron and alkaline substances to brew tea, a layer of rust oil will float on the tea soup. Because tea leaves contain tea polyphenols, when they encounter iron salt solutions in water, the tea soup will turn dark brown. People in the Qing dynasty also paid attention to distinguishing the quality of water by the weight of water, and used the weight to assess the grade of water. According to the miscellaneous notes of Lenglu written by Liu Yishan of the Qing dynasty, Emperor Cai Hongming made a silver bucket to measure spring water in order to taste the water of the whole country, and ranked the water according to the weight of the quality. As a result, the water of Yukon Mountain in the capital weighs 1 liang per bucket, and the water of Yisan in the frontier is the same. The rest of the water, Jinan Pearl Spring weighs more than 2 centimeters, Yangtze River Jinshan Xiling weighs more than 3 centimeters, Hushan and Hupao weigh more than 4 centimeters, Pingshan weighs more than 6 centimeters, Qingliangshan, Beisha, Huqiu and Bian Temple in Zishan weigh more than 1 centimeters. Therefore, Yukon water was determined to be the best spring in the world, and Yukon water is the best spring in the world was written. Snow water was also measured, which was 3 centimeters lighter than Yukon. When good snow was encountered, it must be collected. But snow falls from the sky, not from the ground, so it is not included in the ranking of springs. Because different water qualities have different specific gravities. Cai Hongming distinguished the quality of springs by the weight of water quality, which was an original creation, and it also showed that the Qing royal family was particular about water for drinking tea. In addition to requiring water to be clear, lively and light, the ancients also required the water to be sweet and cool when making tea. The sweet and cool taste of water is also called sweet and cool, or sweet and fragrant. The ancients called spring water with a delicious taste sweet spring and spring water with a fragrant smell fragrant spring, saying that spring water is sweet and fragrant, so it can nourish people. If it is not sweet, it will damage the taste of tea. If the water is not cold, it will taste astringent. Therefore, the water quality for making tea is required to be cool and sweet. The ancients liked to use snow water to make tea, which is to take its sweetness and coolness. When it comes to the coolness of water, the ancients first recommended ice water. Qin Huangjie of the Jin dynasty said in Shiaiji, the ice water of Penglai mountain will make those who drink it live for 1,000 years. In addition to being clear, lively, light, sweet and cold, water can be divided into 2 categories according to its source. One is heavenly spring, and the other is ground spring. Heavenly spring, as the name implies, is spring water from the sky, which can be divided into rain water, snow water and dew water. The literati in the Ming dynasty paid attention to using heavenly springs, and they had different evaluations on the rainwater from heavenly springs in spring, summer, autumn and winter. These people believed that autumn rainwater is the best for making tea, followed by rainwater in the plum rain season, and then spring rain. In summer, there are many heavy rains and the water quality is the worst, so they do not advocate using it for making tea. They also believe that when collecting rainwater, a clean white cloth must be used to collect rainwater in the center of the patio. As for rainwater flowing down from the eaves, it cannot be used. As for snow water, because of the saying that auspicious snow means a good harvest, the ancients believed that snow water was the essence of grains and was the most elegant for making tea. Beijuai, a poet in the Tang dynasty, had a poem saying, reciting frost-like sentences, tasting snow water tea at leisure. Dew, also known as heavenly wine, was a drink for the gods in ancient times. The classic of mountains and seas wrote, dew falls from the fairy hills, and the immortals often drink it. Nowadays, people often use the phrase eating clouds and drinking morning dew to describe the gods who do not eat fireworks. Among all the emperors in Chinese history, Cai Hongming was the most particular about drinking dew. He often went to the Cheng mountain resort in summer to escape the heat. He liked to collect dew on lotus leaves in Taiping Lake to make tea, and he thought it was better than the Yukon water, the best spring in the world. Although rainwater, snow water, and you have all these wonderful things, in today's air pollution, it is not advisable to drink this kind of water unless you are in the deep mountains and old forests or far away from urban factories and uninhabited places. Xiangquan is water from the sky, and Diquan is naturally underground water. Lu Yu recorded in the classic of tea that mountain water is above, river water is in the middle, and well water is below. Just for the water for making tea, King Gai and Lang Yuan took great pains. Not only did they ask people to take water from springs in various places for testing, they also specially asked masters to use water to make tea, to test which kind of water is best for making tea. The final result was not the water taken from famous springs in various places, but the groundwater in an underground cave in Shenangjia and the snow water from the Kunlun snow peak. The water was taken on the same day and transported here by a special plane for cooking, making tea and cooking. Not to mention, the tea and food made with this water taste better, and it also has a rare sweetness. Not only the water, but also the vegetables, meat and rice used in the cooking and King Gai and Lang Yuan are all grown by themselves, without any fertilizers or pesticides added. All are pure natural things, so the price is naturally high. Here, a few hundred yuan for a cup of tea is the lowest consumption. Therefore, Lei Hengchang had a sad face when he saw Xin Jinrao coming here, because here, $100,000 or $1 million for a meal is nothing. You may even go bankrupt. 50-year-old fine wines, 100-year-old Maute, and 200-year-old rice wine, which are rarely seen outside, are all available here. Not only that, there are also pure and pollution-free wild vegetables, shrimps, and crabs, wild mushrooms from the mountains, and fresh fish and shrimps caught from the deep sea. The chef who cooks is the descendant of the one who cooked for 60 back then, and the chef who cooks fresh food is also a veteran who has been passed down from generation to generation. The top Chinese medicine masters in the country are also invited to prepare medicinal food for people to nourish their bodies. The medicinal materials used are all authentic wild things. Because the ingredients are exquisite, the cooking is done by experts, and the preparation is done by masters, the price of the things sold is naturally high, which is a matter of course. To be continued, Chapter 107, King Gai and Lang Yuan, Part 2. There is no need to doubt the snow turning around the cup. The fragrance that remains on the teeth can also relieve fat. The nose observes the root of the tongue and cannot be retained, and the soul still flies with dreams in the deep night. At this moment, King Gaian felt that the poem Tea Fragrance by the Song Dynasty poet Shi Baotan was not an exaggeration to use here. After tasting the tea, she looked down and saw that the remaining tea in the celadon bamboo hat cup was transparent with a faint amber light, and a bright golden color was floating in the teacup. A few wisps of light smoke rose up, as if emitting some warmth. There is more than just tea leaves in it, Sister Rao, Lei Hengchang asked, after tasting the tea. Cai Hongming didn't expect that he could taste it, and he was really good at it. It is said that there are cordyceps and Ganoderma lucidum in it, Xinjin Rao replied. Then this thing is expensive. No matter how ignorant Lei Hengchang was, he knew how much cordyceps cost now. He was looking at the price, but King Gaian saw something else. She couldn't help but say to Xinjin Rao, you have been a shareholder who did nothing for so many years. Today, you finally did something that is beneficial to our King Gaian Lang Yuan. Tell me, where did this tea pill come from? We must get it, no matter how much money it costs. This is not a matter of money. Xinjin Rao glanced at Cai Hongming and shook her head. What's the problem? Do you want me to sacrifice my looks? Cai Hongming didn't expect that a woman who looked so quiet on the outside would have such a tough side. She almost spit out the tea in her mouth. Fortunately, she swallowed it in time, but she choked and coughed. Seeing him like this, King Gaian was unhappy and said, why, do you have any problem? Cai Hongming waved his hand and said, no problem, no problem. Xinjin Rao looked at him like this, and she couldn't help but think of the chance encounter in the coffee shop that day. I remember that he was also so silly at that time. When he arrived at the place, he foolishly invited her to dinner without asking anything, and then foolishly got beaten by Wana. I was foolishly surprised again. When she thought of his expression that day, she couldn't help but want to laugh. He was so funny at that time. His smile was as bright as 100 flowers blooming. Cai Hongming looked at him infatuatedly, and a poem appeared in his mind. The frost on the wild geese penetrates the curtain. The clouds are light and the tender ice is still thin. The stream mirror shines on the comb. I want to use the fragrance and powder. The gorgeous macup is hard to learn. The jade skin is thin, and it is even more heavy, with the dragon silk against it. Leaning on the east wind, a smile is bright, turning around and looking at the flowers is ashamed to fall. This poem is about plum blossoms, saying that it smiles and makes all flowers pale. Cai Hongming remembered the first time they met. It was in a coffee shop, a very awkward blind date. At that time, he didn't want to get married, but he felt a heartbeat when he saw her. It is estimated that it is difficult for a man to see her calm and composed. It's a pity that he didn't meet her earlier. If he met her later, he might have pursued her. But what? There may still be no ifs. At that time, he was a little inferior, a little hesitant, and his heart was still wandering. He didn't want to get married at all. But he didn't expect that he would marry Wana and have a child in the blink of an eye. The world is so unpredictable. He couldn't help but think of running in the sunset that afternoon. That was his lost youth. King Guyan saw Xinjin Rao smiling foolishly over there. Without replying, he pushed her. You are crazy about flowers? What are you smiling foolishly for? You are crazy about flowers? Xinjin Rao looked at Cai Hongming guiltily and said angrily. Seeing her annoyed, King Guyan quickly said, okay, I'll stop being a fangirl. By the way, where did you get this tea pill from? Tell me so I can buy it. I believe that after our King Guyan Langyuan has this kind of tea pill, business will definitely be better. Xinjin Rao glanced at Cai Hongming again and said, I'm not short of money. I may not sell it. Then there must be something they need, we can exchange it. Cai Hongming saw that they were talking about his own things in front of him, and he was embarrassed to listen anymore, so he said, there are not many of these tea pills now, and they are out of stock. If you want them, I will give you 300 pills. Is it yours? King Guyan asked curiously. Well, Cai Hongming nodded. This thing is rare. It's not made by hand by us, but fermented in the stomach by insects, after eating tea leaves, Ganoderma lucidum and Cordyceps sinensis, just like the worm tea in the Miaojiang area and the foreign cat shit coffee. Puff. Lei Hengchang spit out the tea in his mouth. What the hell? Insect shit. Can this thing be drunk? He didn't know that he had already drunk a lot. Are their insects this big? Their poop is this big? King Guyan asked, taking out a tea pill from the box that Xinjin Rao had placed on the table. That kind of insect is bigger, so its poop is also bigger. Compared to other insect poop the size of rice grains, the poop of the fat worm is indeed a little bigger. Now that it has grown up, it is even bigger, from the size of soybeans to the thickness of a little finger. It doesn't look like insect tea, but like a special tea pill made by humans. It doesn't matter, no matter what it is, as long as the quality is the same as this, I will buy it. King Guyan said generously. Well, I'll try to pick the most even ones for you. Because the worms will grow, the worm tea is relatively small in the early stage. Now the tea pills like those in the box are the largest. Cai Hongming suddenly remembered the various herbs that the fat worm ate later, and said with an idea, although this kind of tea pill is relatively rare, the worms later ate various herbs, and produced another kind of worm tea. I call it Bakeo pills. I still don't know what effect it has, but since it can be eaten by the worms, the effect should not be too bad. You can ask someone to take a look. If you want, I can provide it for a long time. Of course, the quantity is not large. After saying that, Cai Hongming pretended to reach into his pocket, but actually took out a box of Bakeo pills that he had packed before from the jade bead. There were about 10 pills in a box, and there was also a large box, which he packed with 100 pills. King Guyan took the box, looked at it, and said, I will find someone to study it, but the main thing now is to bring this insect tea here. I'll give it to you in a few days. Okay, don't keep talking about these things. King Guyan, ask someone to prepare some dishes for us, and they should be of Beijing flavor. Hongming has not tasted the taste of our Beijing cuisine since he came to our place, so we must let him feast on it today. Yes, sir. So King Guyan ordered the kitchen to prepare a full table of dishes. The dishes tasted really good, and Cai Hongming's appetite was whetted. He almost ate all the dishes on the table, so that Lei Hengchang and King Guyan stopped and looked at him with wide eyes. I have a better appetite recently, so I ate a little more. Is it enough? If not, ask for more. Cai Hongming was a little embarrassed by being looked at, and said awkwardly, Lei Hengchang didn't have a big appetite to begin with, but he ate a little more because of his good appetite. Now he was holding his stomach and wailing, how could he eat more? Xinjin Rao is a woman, so she doesn't have such a big stomach, and King Gan didn't eat much at all. Seeing Cai Hongming eating so happily, she was full long ago. The dishes here are really good. Cai Hongming found that the ingredients used for cooking here are not much different from those produced in his own fields. You know, his fields were previously irrigated with jade toad liquid mixed with water. Of course, they don't have such a thing as jade toad liquid, so it's amazing that they can have such dishes. The dishes here are all grown in places far away from the city, and no fertilizers or pesticides are used, so the taste is naturally good. But I feel that the vermicelli, rice noodles and noodles in your store are not bad, even better than here, plus the soup you carefully prepared, it's really delicious. For a while, I went to eat every day, and I never got tired of it. Xinjin Rao said with reminiscence. Is it really that good? King Gayan said in surprise. Xinjin Rao nodded. The vermicelli in Cai Hongming's store is really that good. Some people became addicted after eating there a few times and went there every day. Later, they wondered if he put something taboo in his soup, such as poppy shells, so they packed it up and sent it to the relevant departments for inspection. As a result, nothing was added. Later, when the news spread, more people went there to eat. Now, not only people from the county eat in his store, but also people from the city, and even people from nearby cities come here for its reputation. Now the Dushengjing barbecue noodle shop has become a business card of Guilin County. Then you must go and try it when the time comes. King Gayan said. I brought some back, and will give it to you tomorrow. You can ask the kitchen chef to make some, and you will know. Well, if it tastes really good, we have to order some back. You should know that the purpose of our King Gayan Langfang is to sell only the best things. King Gayan said, and also clenched his fist and gestured, like a girl, which made Xinjin Rao laugh. It seems that, although it has been a long time since we last met, this childhood friend who I knew when I was a child has not changed at all. To be continued, chapter 108, Old People. It was a sunny afternoon. After eating, King Gayan asked someone to clean up the messy table, and then put out the tea set, drinking tea and chatting. But mostly the three of them were chatting, talking about things after they parted, and talking about childhood fun. Cai Hongming didn't say anything, just leaning against a stone pillar in the pavilion, enjoying the coolness coming from between the stone pillars. The breeze was blowing gently, making people feel drunk. He couldn't help but close his eyes and tried to move the river cart with the inner alchemy of the Jade Purity Golden Box King Hua secret text Jinbei. Unexpectedly, a trace of spiritual energy was sucked into his body and then absorbed and spit out by the jade beads. Sure enough, practicing in the mountains is different from practicing in the city. The dirty city, where evil spirits are rampant, has no spiritual energy at all. There is only stupidity, decay, resentment, hatred, anger, and murderousness. No wonder there are strange things happening all day long. When practicing, he felt that the jade beads seemed to be more solid after absorbing the spiritual energy. He was delighted and continued to practice, but suddenly felt a chill on his face. When he opened his eyes, he saw Xinjin Rao holding a water cup and looking at him with a charming smile. Why did you fall asleep? Are you bored listening to us talking? No, it's quiet here, so I just dozed off for a while. I didn't expect that I would feel much more energetic all of a sudden. Of course, the air in King Gayan Langfang is the best in the vicinity. Experts have come to test it. We have the most negative oxygen ions, especially in the morning. King Gayan said proudly. Cai Hongming didn't expect that she would pant after he said it casually. Let's go back after resting. Xinjin Rao said. You are going back too. Don't you live here at night? Why should I live here? You can chat and talk at night. I feel so bored if you don't live here. Xinjin Rao didn't dare to listen to this. She knew that her best friend was a health fanatic. She would get up at a fixed time every day, go to the mountains to breathe fresh air, exercise and do yoga, and take a fixed rest at noon. After the massage at night, she went to bed on time. Except for managing King Gayan Langgian, she arranged it like this every day. The schedule was very tight, leaving her no time to be bored and dazed. Seeing that she was determined to leave, King Iron had no choice but to take them down. When they left, they did not take the way they came. Instead, they took a stone road winding down from the stone pavilion. On both sides of the stone road were dense jungles, with tall pines and lush grass in the forest. A breeze blew through the mountains, and a breath of fresh air with the fragrance of grass and trees drifted by, refreshing the heart. Looking up, I saw a goshawk soaring in the blue sky and white clouds. Looking back, I saw squirrels jumping on the branches, birds chirping between the branches, and cicadas croaking on the branches. At this moment, Cai Hongming suddenly understood the true meaning of the ancient poem. The cicadas chirping in the forest are more quiet, and the birds singing in the mountains are more secluded. The stone road was winding, and did not take a straight road, as if it was going around the mountain. The jungle foothills on both sides should have been artificially modified, removing some weeds and shrubs, leaving only old trees and flowers, making it look very clean, without the feeling of a pile of barren mountains, weeds and broken trees. The road was covered tightly by layers of leaves from large trees. Only a small gap was left above the walkway. The sun poured down through the gap, reflecting the ancient trees' twisted branches and old bark. It looks like a poetic landscape painting. Walking slowly, passing a bend, a small waterfall suddenly appeared in front of me, hitting down from above, forming a stream below that flows through the pebbled forest valley, leaving a string of tinkling melodies, gently knocking on the nameless heart of people. People, affected by the environment, always have some inexplicable emotions. At this moment, Cai Hongming's mind was empty, and others didn't know what they were thinking, or they were enjoying the tranquility of the mountains. They were all speechless. Walking out of the mountain path in the jungle is a parking lot. There was a noisy sound in their ears again, and everyone suddenly felt like they had entered the world of mortals from the Buddhist temple, like two completely different worlds. Boom. Everyone was still savoring the tranquility just now, when suddenly they heard a roar in the distance. It seemed that someone else had come. They didn't care about the car coming. Xinjin Rao walked to the car, opened the door, and was about to get in. At this time, the car coming from below suddenly stopped beside her. A man got out of the car and called her affectionately, Rao Rao. Her hand holding the key trembled involuntarily. King Iron couldn't help but frowned after hearing this. Lei Hengchang, on the other hand, looked at him with disdain. Cai Hongming looked at this inexplicable man in surprise, with gossip flying in his mind. Xinjin Rao forced herself to calm down, turned her head, looked at the man indifferently, and called, Brother Zifu. Ro, you're back. When did you come back? Why didn't you tell me, so that I could pick you up? I've been back for a while. Xinjin Rao's tone was still light, but her heart was surging. She couldn't help but laugh at herself. She had been avoiding it for several years, and letting it get cold. She thought she had let go of everything in the past, but she didn't expect that when she faced it again, she couldn't help but feel overwhelmed, and couldn't really let it go. Yes, after all, it was her first love and her innocent youth. How could it be so easy to erase it? You, Mr. Jiang, can you go in now? Jiang Zifu was about to speak, but the people in the car saw that he was still hesitating and called out from behind, I'll be there soon. Jiang Zifu turned around and said to those people, then turned back to Xinjin Rao and said, Rao, let's talk about it later. I have something to deal with in advance. Then, he said to King Iron next to him, King Iron, I brought a few guests here. Can you help me arrange a seat? King Iron frowned, but finally nodded, picked up the intercom, and said a few words. After a while, a waiter wearing a Taoist robe came out and led them in. Jiang Zifu went over to talk to them and walked back. Only then did Cai Hongming understand that the so-called Taoist robes were their work clothes. Jiang Zifu came over, tidied up his messy hair, and said softly to Xinjin Rao, Rao, have you been okay recently? Looking at him, Xinjin Rao thought a lot. Somehow, she felt as if her heart was bleeding. She couldn't help but take a deep breath and exhale, as if to erase the bad memories of the past. After a while, she said, it's okay. Brother Zifu, don't call me Rao anymore. Only my family members call me by this name, and I'm afraid that others will misunderstand. You should just call me Xinjin Rao. Jiang Zifu's face, which had been smiling, since he saw her, froze slightly. Rao, can't we start over? There's no going back. Xinjin Rao shook her head and got into the car. Seeing that she was about to leave, Jiang Zifu knelt down in a hurry and shouted with regret, Rao, I know I was wrong. I'm a bastard. I'm shameless. Can you give me a chance? Let me love you well. Rao, let us start over, okay? Seeing him like this, Xinjin Rao felt that the things she had been insisting on in her heart seemed to be broken with a bang at this moment. Only then did she realize that the things she had been holding back were so ridiculous. So, she stopped talking, drove away quickly without caring about Jiang Zifu kneeling beside her. Seeing the car leaving, Jiang Zifu's regretful face instantly turned livid and then became ferocious. Cai Hongming really couldn't help it. He wanted to know what this guy's luck was like, so he condensed his energy into his eyes and turned his head to take a look. Oh my god, it was dark clouds covering the sky again. Why did he meet unlucky people in the past 2 days? To be continued. Chapter 109 Wrong Love. After returning to the hotel, Cai Hongming didn't want to go out again, so he took out the jade pixie he bought from the antique stall to examine it. The jade bead between the eyebrows emitted bursts of light again, feeling like a child who had been hungry for a long time and wanted to eat something, and the jade pixie was the food. But after checking for a long time, except for finding something contained in the body of the jade pixie, there seemed to be nothing, which made people feel strange. Well, could it be that the thing inside is spiritual energy? Cai Hongming suddenly remembered that when he was practicing, the jade bead seemed to be so greedy to eat the spiritual energy absorbed by him from the world. Thinking of this, he tried to hold the jade pixie in his hand and use the inner alchemy of the jade treasure of the Jade King Jin Box King Hua secret text to absorb the things contained in the jade pixie. Ignorance is fearless. He didn't know that this was actually very dangerous. He didn't think about what to do if the jade pixie contained not spiritual energy, but other things that could destroy the body. But his luck has always been good. As soon as the contents of the jade pixie entered his body, the jade bead could not wait to absorb them. After a while, it was exhaled again. However, the spiritual energy exhaled was 1/10 less than that inhaled, but it was more pure. The spiritual energy contained in the jade pixie was not much, and it was absorbed in just a moment. The jade bead no longer glowed. Although it was only a moment, Cai Hongming found that the surface of the jade bead had become more solid. Alas, after the spiritual energy in the jade pixie was absorbed, it turned into powder in an instant. The hidden pattern that Zun Leo saw was obviously gone. At this time, he suddenly remembered the piece of mutton fat jade with water in it that he had dug when he was mining jade in Hotten before. Could it be that there was also spiritual energy in it, but it just turned into liquid like the jade toad liquid? I don't know if he thought too much, but it's always right to try some things. So, he took out the piece of mutton fat jade with water from the jade bead. The jade bead between his eyebrows suddenly emitted a brighter light than before, and it kept flashing, as if it couldn't wait to eat it. It seems that there is really a liquid made of spiritual energy inside. Otherwise, the jade bead wouldn't be so anxious. In order to solidify the jade bead as soon as possible to avoid the danger of breaking, Cai Hongming continued to work hard, put his hand on the mutton fat jade material, and operated the Jinbei Neli Liandanju to absorb the spiritual liquid inside. As soon as it was operated, the jade bead couldn't wait to absorb the spiritual liquid through the vitality in his body, and the speed was faster than Cai Hongming's own absorption. In just a blink of an eye, more than half of the spiritual liquid in the mutton fat jade was gone. Cai Hongming saw that there was only a little spiritual liquid left inside, and he quickly took his hand back. Without the vitality in his body as a medium, the jade bead could no longer absorb the spiritual liquid, and could only emit light unwillingly between his eyebrows. The reason why he did this was because this was something that the little fat bug had found after all. Even if he didn't make any contributions, he had worked hard. He couldn't just give away all the fruits of his labor. He still had to give some benefits. Otherwise, who will work for you next time, right? So, he went to the store and bought an electric drill, drilled a small hole in the mutton fat jade material, poured out the spiritual liquid inside, and put it into the black jade bottle. Then he caught the little fat worm from the jade bead. The little fat worm was eating tea leaves, with a leaf bitten in the corner of its mouth. It was caught by him, and it was stupidly confused about the situation. It just looked at him stupidly. The two eyes and head were big, and the white and fat body looked so cute. Cai Hongming took a cup, poured out a little spiritual liquid from the black jade bottle, and handed it to drink. When the little guy saw the spiritual liquid, his eyes seemed to be bigger. He couldn't wait to crawl to the cup, and buried his head to drink it. After drinking it, it seemed to be unsatisfied and asked him for more. Cai Hongming looked at it, and poured it a little more. After drinking 3 small cups in a row, the little guy was finally satisfied, but suddenly closed his eyes, and fell limply to the ground. Cai Hongming was scared, and quickly picked it up. After careful observation, he found that the little guy was sleeping, with a bulging belly and a drop of silver thread flowing from the corner of his mouth. He shook his head as he looked at it, and put it into the jade bead, and placed it on the mutton fat jade material that had no spiritual liquid. He didn't know that the spiritual liquid in the mutton fat jade was actually called the marrow of the earth, which was the essence of the spiritual energy accumulated underground, comparable to the spiritual energy outside 1,000 times. The little guy drank so much, and was hit by the spiritual energy, and got drunk all of a sudden. After putting the little guy away, he sat on the sofa, and concentrated on looking at the jade bead. The jade bead contained clear light and was integrated. It was much more condensed than before. At least there was no visible line that was about to break. It seemed that the danger of the jade bead breaking had been eliminated, and he could plant things in it with peace of mind. After a busy period, it was already late. He took a bath, and planned to find a place to eat in the cool night and enjoy the night view of the capital. At this moment, the phone rang. He opened it, and saw that it was Shen Jinrao calling. "What are you doing?" "I'm planning to go out for dinner. Then I'll buy you a drink." "Okay." After a while, on a pedestrian bridge with heavy traffic, Cai Hongming and Xin Jinrao each held a bottle of honey tea and drank it. Cai Hongming felt like his heart was trampled by 100 herds of grass mud horses. "Didn't you say to drink? Is this wine?" "Ah. To me, this is wine." This was the answer Xin Jinrao gave him. Cai Hongming felt that his heart was full of grass. Xin Jinrao didn't care what he thought, just sipped the honey tea, and after a while she said, "I'm in a bad mood today. I want to find someone to talk to, but I can't find the right one, so I thought of you. You're not afraid of my nagging, right?" No. In fact, he was very interested in what happened between her and the man during the day, and now he could not wait to hear her say it herself. Hearing that she was about to start talking, he immediately sat up straight and listened attentively. "Speaking of which, my family is not bad. My father is a red-headed son, which is what people often call the second generation of the red. I'm the third generation of the red. My mother is doing business outside. My family has some money and power, and basically has everything. Because I'm the only girl in the family, they are very spoiled and given whatever I want, but I have not become a spoiled young lady because of this." Cai Hongming listened to her silently, and finally summarized it. "In fact, it is nothing more than a story about a rich and powerful daughter from a powerful family falling in love with an equally powerful young man, and then being abandoned. The story introduces that the two were originally a match made in heaven. It's a pity that the young man despised his family's low official position and fell in love with another girl whose family has a high official position. Unfortunately, he was unlucky. After the new official came to power, his father was prosecuted for taking bribes and embezzlement, and his family was also arrested for more or less problems. Almost in an instant, a powerful family fell apart. The young man was lucky because his parents took all the sins, so he was fine. It's just that, because his family property was confiscated, he became very embarrassed and fell to the point of working as a broker to make money. And his girlfriend, who was a high-ranking official, broke up with him because of problems in his family. At this point, the young man wanted to go back to find the rich daughter, but it was a pity that everything had changed. This story has been played out in many TV dramas, and there are more bloody ones than this one, but Cai Hongming didn't expect to witness one today. Sure enough, life is like a play, and a play is sometimes a life. Do you think I'm stupid? I love someone so wholeheartedly, but in the end I ruthlessly abandon him. Now you still want to come back to find me? Do you think I'm so cheap? Xinjin Rao raised her head and took a sip of honey tea and angrily threw the bottle under the bridge. With a bang, it hit the roof of a small car. Cai Hongming saw it and hurriedly pulled Xinjin Rao to squat down to avoid being seen. The car slowly stopped by the roadside. The door opened and a bald man walked out. Who is it? Didn't your parents teach you not to throw objects from high places? You are so wicked. Don't you know that Beijing is a cultural city? Jing is shameless to smear us Beijingers. Who is it? Are you still there? If you have the guts, come out and challenge me. Let's see whether you will pick me or I will pick your whole family. Xinjin Rao was very angry after hearing this and wanted to stand up and curse back, but Cai Hongming held her tightly and covered her mouth. At this time, she couldn't act out of loyalty, otherwise there would definitely be trouble, and harmony brings wealth, not to mention that it was her own fault. But the man's words were really unpleasant. Cai Hongming wanted to teach him a lesson, so he picked up the bottle in his hand and threw it in the direction of the sound. With a bang, it hit the bald man. Hey, who the hell is so wicked that he keeps throwing things at me? I see you. Wait for me. I'll find you right away. Cai Hongming took a peek through the gap in the railings. Wow, he actually chased after them. He quickly pulled Xinjin Rao and ran away. Don't run. I see you guys. Wait for me. The bald man shouted from behind. If you don't run, you'll be a fool. Without saying a word, Cai Hongming pulled Xinjin Rao and ran forward quickly. Neither he nor Xinjin Rao saw that there was a car parked not far under the bridge, with the window open, revealing Jiang Zifu's face. To be continued. Chapter 110. I can't run anymore. Stop, I can't run anymore. After running a distance, Xinjin Rao shook off Cai Hongming's tightly grasped hand, leaned against a roadside tree, and gasped for breath. Cai Hongming saw that the bald man didn't catch up, so he was relieved and stopped. After panting for a while, Xinjin Rao felt better. She looked up and found that Cai Hongming's face was not red, and he was not out of breath. He looked like nothing happened. She couldn't help but ask curiously, "Aren't you tired?" Cai Hongming glanced at her and said, "You are too weak. You are out of breath like this after running such a short distance. You must exercise well in the future." Xinjin Rao was too lazy to pay attention to him. What is a short distance? From the overpass to here, it is at least 1 kilometer away. She has never run such a long distance in a row since she was born. Today is already a record. What else do you want? Go. Suddenly, she heard something calling and was startled. When she listened carefully, she found that it was the sound of her stomach. She blushed with embarrassment. She didn't eat anything in the morning and only ate a little at noon. She had a lot of gas in her stomach and no appetite to eat at night. After talking so much and running such a long distance, it would be strange if she wasn't hungry. I'm hungry. I didn't eat dinner either. Let's find a place to eat. Cai Hongming didn't see her face, but just heard her stomach growling. Yeah. Xinjin Rao responded, but strangely, she didn't seem to want to leave, and still stood there holding the tree. Cai Hongming asked, "Why don't you leave?" Xinjin Rao bit her lower lip and couldn't help, but yelled in anger, "I'm hungry and can't walk." Okay. She couldn't help but complain in her heart that this person was too blind and couldn't even see this. But her face flushed again in an instant, feeling so embarrassed that she had lost all her face in this life tonight. What should I do? Cai Hongming turned his head and looked around. He found that there was no taxi here, so he said, "Or I'll carry you." What else can I do? Xinjin Rao nodded modestly and said nothing. Cai Hongming went over, carried her on his back and walked forward. At this time, a car happened to stop behind them. Through the light, he could vaguely see Jiang Zifu sitting in the driver's seat. He stared at the two people in front of him with his eyes, as if fire was about to burst out of his eyes. This is a very wide road with green forests planted on the side of the road. The green forests seemed to have been planted for some years. They were tall and big, blocking the sky tightly. The noise from the traffic on the highway made the woods on the side of the road seem very quiet, so quiet that Cai Hongming and Xinjin Rao could hear each other's heartbeats. Cai Hongming clearly felt a pile of soft things pressing against his body from behind. He knew what it was without thinking, and his mind was distracted, and he couldn't control himself for a while. His thoughts were all over the place. This was not a solution, so he made small talk. You are too light. You should eat more meat, especially yak meat, so that you can be healthy. You see, I eat yak meat, so my body is so healthy, unlike you, who will be out of breath after running for a while. No wonder he has such stupid strength. It turns out that he has become a stupid cow because of eating too much beef. Xinjin Rao muttered in her heart. She felt lying on Cai Hongming's back, not hot or cold. It was warm and comfortable, making her want to sleep, but unfortunately she was hungry and couldn't fall asleep. She had to hug Cai Hongming's neck tightly with both hands and press her belly against him, hoping to resist hunger. But she obviously ignored Cai Hongming's feelings, and this method didn't work. It would only make him more crazy. As he thought about it, he didn't know where he was thinking about, and his lower body suddenly stood up, and it was uncomfortable. Fortunately, he was bending over, and it was not very noticeable, otherwise it would be fatal. At this moment, he felt that this path was so long, and time passed so slowly. He felt as if he was back to the feeling of being restless in school, hoping that the get out of class would end immediately. Finally, he found a light in front of him, a pair of big red lanterns hanging on the door, surrounded by a fence, which seemed to be a farmhouse-style restaurant. He hurriedly carried Xinjin Rao on his back and walked over. When he got closer, he found that there was a sign hanging inside that said tea house in the forest. Damn, what a crappy name. It's just a few trees planted on the side of the road and it's called tea house in the forest. How wicked. Do you dare to name it something more impressive? Cai Hongming, who couldn't find a restaurant, complained a lot, but Xinjin Rao ignored him and just lay there quietly. I don't know what she was thinking, and she would rub Cai Hongming's back with her chest from time to time. Oh my god, this life is so miserable. Cai Hongming hurriedly continued to look for a place to eat. Otherwise, if she continued to toss like this, he would definitely become the man in the world who died prematurely due to elevated hormones. After walking for a while, he finally saw another restaurant. This was a small 8-through-army restaurant with the theme of the anti-Japanese war. Not only was the decoration inside the restaurant like the anti-Japanese war period, but even the waiters in the restaurant were dressed in 8-through-army uniforms, which looked very innovative. He didn't eat in the evening, and he carried Xinjin Rao for a while. Cai Hongming was so hungry that he couldn't stand it anymore. He didn't care what the main feature was, as long as there were stir-fried dishes. He ordered a few dishes at random, and when the dishes came, Cai Hongming started to eat quickly. Xinjin Rao was already hungry, and seeing him eating so happily, her appetite suddenly opened up, and she started to fight with him for food. It is said that the food that is fought over is particularly delicious, and it was true, so that Xinjin Rao ate too much, and finally she looked at Cai Hongming with a resentful face, while holding her slightly bulging belly, as if blaming him for making her eat so much. Cai Hongming wanted to cry, but had no tears. He blamed himself for eating too much. Is there any justice in the world? He obviously didn't know that. If a woman is reasonable, is she still a woman? After eating and taking a rest in the restaurant, the two of them left. The restaurant is located in a remote area and there is no bus stop nearby. So Cai Hongming and Xinjin Rao could only continue walking forward, just as a walk after dinner. After walking for a while, Xinjin Rao saw a park next to it that was dotted with many dim lights. It felt very artistic, so she suggested to Cai Hongming that they go in for a walk together. Cai Hongming didn't care, so the two of them walked in. It was late at night, and there were almost no people in the park, which seemed very quiet. Xinjin Rao seemed to like this quiet atmosphere very much, and closed her eyes to enjoy it. Cai Hongming looked at her. She looked like a girl in the haze, so innocent that people couldn't help but like her. He didn't know if that bitch had been kicked in the head by a donkey at noon, and actually gave up such a good girl. If it were him, he would definitely hold her tightly in his hands, and never let go. Suddenly, he realized that someone seemed to be coming in front of him, so he quickly stepped forward, and stood in front of Xinjin Rao. What are you doing? Xinjin Rao was just closing her eyes to enjoy this rare tranquility, but she didn't expect to be blocked by him. She bumped into his hard body and her head hurt. Before Cai Hongming could reply, she saw several people coming in front of her. She had seen countless news reports about horrible and terrible things in the dark night, so she quickly shrank behind Cai Hongming. The person in front gradually approached, and it turned out to be Jiang Zifu, followed by several tattooed men. "Zifu, is it this pretty boy who stole your girlfriend?" asked a man with a red-faced Guangdong tattoo on his shoulder. "Yeah." Jiang Zifu squinted and responded. "This pretty boy does look good. No wonder your girlfriend likes him. If he can be sent to Thailand to be transformed into a woman, he must be a popular figure in the nightclub." Ha 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 ha. Jiang Zifu and the tattooed men laughed when they heard it, without considering Cai Hongming's feelings at all, as if he was dead. To be continued. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 111. The saddest, most tragic, and most frightening event of 2015. Cai Hongming always thought that he was a gentle and refined gentleman. The fact was almost the same. When his mother scolded him, he never talked back. When his wife hit him, he never fought back. Usually, he respected the old and loved the young, helped others, was honest and trustworthy, and was modest and courteous. He could be said to be a feeling, interesting, good, and useful youth. But even if he was a gentle and refined gentleman, a feeling, interesting, good, and useful youth, when he heard someone say that he would become a popular card in the nightclub after plastic surgery and sex change to become a woman, not to mention that he could not continue to maintain the image of a gentleman and a good young man, even Buddha would be angry. Cai Hongming looked at the tattooed man and Jiang Zifu who were laughing in front of him, touched the slight beard that had just grown on his chin, and shook his head and sneered. There are so many people who want to die nowadays. No wonder there are always so many freaks in society. Suddenly, his face turned cold, his feet moved slightly, and he stepped forward, came to the tattooed man with the head of Guangdong, stretched out his right hand and slapped him hard in the face. The tattooed man with the head of Guangdong clearly saw him coming, but before his body could react, he was slapped to the ground. Suddenly, he felt as if there was a foreign object in his mouth. He stirred it and spit it into his palm. It turned out to be a few bloody teeth. His face, which was not evil at first, suddenly became ferocious. "Go, fight for me. As long as no one dies, I will be responsible if something goes wrong," the tattooed man with the head of Guangdong roared. The tattooed man behind him heard it, pulled out the baseball bat on his waist, and walked towards Cai Hongming. At this time, Cai Hongming had retreated to Xinjin Rao's side. Seeing them coming, he patted Xinjin Rao's hand and asked her to step back. Xinjin Rao pulled the corner of his clothes worriedly. Cai Hongming smiled and indicated that it was okay. Xinjin Rao had been in Gilang for so long that she knew that he knew Kung Fu, but she was still worried. Although she was worried, she still retreated. Since she couldn't help, she couldn't hold him back here. But she was worried that Cai Hongming would get hurt, so she took out her cell phone and started calling. A tattooed man walked in front of Cai Hongming and swung a baseball bat at him. The baseball bat came with great force. There was a whistling sound. Cai Hongming dodged his frontal attack sideways and waited until he had used up all his strength to swing the baseball bat, then suddenly attacked, grabbed his wrist and arm, and used the momentum to bend it down. The man's arm was broken immediately, and he fell to the ground wailing. Another tattooed man came over. Cai Hongming grabbed the baseball bat, pulled it forward, and pushed hard on the joint of his shoulder with one hand. The joint immediately shifted and fell, and the hand could no longer exert force. These techniques are the experience passed down by Cai Hongming's ancestors. They were originally used to treat people, but now he uses them to defend against enemies. Other sects actually have this technique as well. This is one of the 36 poisonous hands widely circulated in the martial arts world in the past. It is a bone-breaking technique that requires a vicious heart, hands, and eyes when fighting against an enemy. Cai Hongming just happens to have these. In just a few moments, Cai Hongming used his means to displace or break the bones of several tattooed men. They cried out in pain beside them. The man whose teeth were knocked out by Cai Hongming saw that the situation was not good and turned around and ran away. The tattooed man lying on the ground saw it and ran away too. In an instant, only Jiang Zifu was left in the group. Jiang Zifu saw that the situation was not right and turned around to leave, but was stopped by Cai Hongming. "Why are you leaving so quickly? Why don't you stay and chat?" Seeing that the matter could not be resolved peacefully, Jiang Zifu's eyes turned. He turned around and knelt on the ground with a bang, crying to Xinjin Rao in regret. "Rao Rao, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me this time. I won't dare to do it again. Rao Rao, for the sake of our past love, please give me another chance and treat me like a fart, okay?" His expression was desolate and touching. Cai Hongming couldn't help but sigh that this guy was really talented, but it was a pity that he was striving in the wrong direction. If he was engaged in the film and television industry, he would be a master of acting. Xinjin Rao listened to his words and looked at his appearance. For some reason, she suddenly felt very disgusted, so disgusted that she didn't want to see the man in front of her again. "Forget it, we have known each other for a while, go away. Just pretend that we have never met. Maybe everything between us was a mistake." Xinjin Rao thought of the past and couldn't help but shed tears. She swore that this was the last tear between them. Jiang Zifu turned around and ran away when he heard it. But Cai Hongming didn't want to let him go like this. He had to teach him a lesson, so he stepped forward and slapped him on the Beihu acupoint on the top of his head. Jiang Zifu only felt a buzzing in his ears, and then he lost consciousness. "Didn't you say to let him go? Why did you hit him?" Xinjin Rao asked puzzledly. "If you don't teach this kind of person a lesson, he might cause you trouble in the future." Xinjin Rao thought about it and didn't object. If he hadn't been there today, who knows what would have happened? Then, Cai Hongming dragged Jiang Zifu, who had fainted on the ground, to a stone chair nearby and began to take off his clothes. "Why are you taking off his clothes?" Xinjin Rao was puzzled by his behavior. "Don't you think it's fun to strip him naked and leave him here?" Cai Hongming raised his eyebrows at her and smiled playfully. Xinjin Rao pouted. "Who would think it's fun? But I have to say, this idea is really great." For the first time, she felt that Cai Hongming was dirty, even vulgar. At this time, there was a noise from behind, and then Lei Hengchang came over with a group of security guards. As soon as he came in, he saw the strange scene of Cai Hongming taking off Jiang Zifu's pants, and his face couldn't help but become strange. Cai Hongming saw that he was weird, so he asked, "What are you thinking about? What are you doing?" I'm just thinking what to think." Lei Hengchang opened his eyes wide and his words were evasive. When Cai Hongming heard it, he turned around and stabbed his right fist from his left elbow, made a fuck gesture, and then went back to work. Not only Lei Hengchang, but also the group of security guards who came with him felt weird. Some even felt a little cold in their anus, and walked away, and kept a distance from him. Lei Hengchang took a look, then turned to Xinjin Rao, and asked with concern, "Sister Rao, are you okay?" "Thanks to Hongming, otherwise I really don't know what would happen. I didn't expect him to be so cruel. It seems that I really misjudged him at that time." Xinjin Rao sighed. "I have always thought that he is a worthless person. I knew that from his childhood," Lei Hengchang said disdainfully. Hearing this, Xinjin Rao didn't know how to respond. Jiang Zifu and she all grew up in the same compound, so they were so familiar with each other and later walked together. But somehow, Lei Hengchang didn't like Jiang Zifu since he was a child, especially after Jiang Zifu robbed him several times. It is said that children are the most vindictive, but I didn't expect him to remember it for so long. After Cai Hongming stripped Jiang Zifu to only a naked body, the group left in a leisurely manner, leaving only Jiang Zifu lying unconscious on a stone chair. Late at night, the park was very quiet, so quiet that it was a little scary. A drunk man walked in drunkenly from outside, as if he wanted to find a place to sleep. Suddenly, he saw Jiang Zifu lying naked on a stone chair, and a pair of green lights suddenly appeared in his eyes. So, a terrible thing happened. P.S. Jinbu can be said to be an improvement, which is a way of using force to rush forward with the back foot. If you practice well, you can take a big step. To be continued. Chapter 112, The Most Desolate, Tragic, helpless, and terrible event of 2015. In the morning, Cai Hongming opened the curtains and saw the sun shining brightly outside. The sky was as flawless as a sapphire. In Beijing, this kind of weather is very rare, especially in this season. After a little exercise, Cai Hongming went to wash up and then asked the hotel restaurant to send a breakfast over. He turned on the TV and ate while watching the news. Hello, this is the news live broadcast room of Huoneo TV station. I'm Wenru, reporting for you now. According to the latest news sent back by our Beijing-based reporter, a horrific murder occurred in Beijing Park at around 6 in the morning. It happened in the morning, and there were many people exercising in the park. Some witnesses took videos of the scene. Let's take a look now. Then, the screen turned, and a rough video appeared. Wow, they are so loving. I want to take a picture of them. With this cry, the blurry video gradually became clear, and a stone chair appeared on the screen. Two people were sleeping naked on the stone chair. The person behind him was tightly pressed against the one in front, and his hands were still grasping his chest. There was a piece of scattered clothes on the ground. The screen gave them a close-up, and Cai Hongming was stunned. At this time, the man in front woke up and seemed a little fuzzy. He shook his head and suddenly felt something strange in his buttocks. He turned his head and found the naked man behind him. The strange feeling was that the man's thing was pressing against his anus. He felt his anus tighten and it hurt. He touched it and it bled. Good boy, let's do it again. At this time, the sleeping man suddenly murmured to himself, as if he was talking in his sleep. He seemed to remember something. His face suddenly turned livid, and he stood up and kicked the man on the head. Fuck your mother, how dare you fuck me. The man was kicked awake, and he quickly hugged his head and huddled up and shouted, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. He didn't care about that. He was so angry that he grabbed the man's hair. He slammed him hard on the stone chair, blood splattered, and the man fainted immediately. He was still not satisfied, so he kicked him hard and even ran to the side and took a stone to hit the man's head. The scene was very bloody and horrifying. The girl who filmed the video was obviously a girl, and she screamed in fear. Someone nearby came to dissuade and pull him, but it was useless. The man had gone crazy. As long as someone came forward to pull him, he would yell and throw stones at people. It is right for us to do good things, and we don't expect any rewards, but if we get ourselves involved, it would be a bit stupid. So the people who were pulling nearby hid aside to watch the excitement. After a while, the police came to stop him, handcuffed him and took him away, and the matter came to an end. But the man had been beaten to a bloody mess, and it was obviously impossible to save him. The one who beat people in the picture was Jiang Zifu. I didn't expect that he would be beaten up by a drunkard when he was sleeping on a stone chair yesterday. He has always been the only one who beat others. Who dares to beat him up? How could he bear this? All of a sudden, the resentment that had been suppressed for a period of time because of his parents' imprisonment broke out, and it was out of control. Cai Hongming didn't know how to comment after watching it. There were reasons for the beginning of this matter, but more of it was his bad luck. Who knew this would happen? Okay, this is the news broadcast room of Firebird TV. I'm Wenru, reporting to you. After watching the video just now, we can't help but ask why that person is so cruel. For this reason, our on-site reporter specially visited nearby residents and checked the nearby cameras. It's just that there are no cameras in the park, so we can't restore the truth of the matter, but through visits and some camera footage, we can probably guess one or two. The thing is, the person who was beaten was a homeless man who had been begging for a living nearby and sleeping in the park at night. Last night, he bought some wine at a roadside shop, got drunk, and bumped all the way back to the park where he stayed to sleep. Let's imagine what would happen if a drunk homeless man saw a naked person lying on a stone bench. We don't dwell on why the man was sleeping naked on a stone bench. When he woke up and found that he was beaten by that, I believe all male compatriots can understand the grief and anger in his heart. I understand your mother. After hearing this, countless men who watched the news cursed. So, the tragic incident happened. Of course, this is just my speculation. As for the truth, it remains to be investigated by the police. However, this incident reminds us that we must not get drunk at night, let alone sleep naked outside. This is a very cruel lesson. Well, that's all about the murder in Jingcheng Park. Now let's focus on another news. According to the latest news sent back by our reporter in Taipei, after reading the news, Cai Hongming felt a tightness in his back. It seems that brother Jiang must have had a hard time last night. This incident will definitely leave a shadow in his heart, and I don't know how he should face the bleak life that follows. Only you can accompany me to obtain the scriptures on the west. Only you can kill monsters and eliminate demons. Only you can protect me so that crabs and clams can't eat me. Your greatest ability is only you. The phone rang, and Cai Hongming picked it up and listened. It was Shen Jinrao. Hello. Do you have time? Yes. Then come out. I'll wait for you at the coffee shop opposite the hotel. Okay. Cai Hongming got dressed and came to the coffee shop and saw Zhen Jinrao sitting quietly in front of the window, stirring her coffee gently with her hands. Her movements were elegant and gentle, and against the tasteful classical clothes, she gave off the scent of an intellectual beauty, and she was completely different from the young girl who was a little naughty last night. I don't know if it was the black night that gave her black courage. Now when he thought of the pair of soft hands rubbing against his back, he felt distracted. People who have not experienced it will never know what kind of itchy feeling it is. Why are you drinking coffee so early? Aren't you afraid of hurting your stomach? Cai Hongming said as he sat down. Seeing him coming, Zhen Jinrao gently lifted a corner of her hair and said, "It's just once in a while. It doesn't matter. What do you want to order?" "A glass of freshly squeezed juice." After a while, the waiter brought the juice. After the waiter left, Zhen Jinrao asked in a low voice, "Did you watch the news this morning?" "I did. I didn't expect this to happen. But it's good this way. Let him go in and reflect on himself. He will know how to behave when he comes out." Cai Hongming didn't even raise his head while drinking juice. He knew that she hurriedly called him out to ask about this matter. It should be impossible to get out. How is it possible? He is a bit like a victim. At most, he will be sentenced to more than 10 years. It shouldn't be that serious. This matter is not that simple. Previously, because his parents took on all the family affairs, he was able to get away. Otherwise, he would be in trouble too. It's just that it's a matter of money. After this news came out, the police received reports from many girls saying that he threatened, raped, and insulted. He already had a criminal record in the police station. In the past, his family was powerful and might have been able to suppress these things. Now it has exploded. He is sentenced to multiple crimes and is estimated to spend the rest of his life in prison. Zhen Jinrao didn't say one more thing. That is, Lei Hengchang secretly pushed after hearing the news, so this result occurred. Of course, she couldn't explain this matter to Cai Hongming. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Let's talk about you. When do you plan to go back? Cai Hongming glanced at her, as if he liked to talk about it. It seemed that you started it, but he still replied, "Not so soon. I still have to go to Suzhou." "Is there something?" "Nothing. King Guyan ate your vermicelli this morning and felt that it tasted good. I wanted to go to investigate it. So I wanted to ask when you are leaving so that we can go together. My friend found a store for me in Suzhou. I have to go and take a look. I guess I will be home late. You might as well go there first. Wana is at my mother's place. You can go to play with her first, or let someone from the company come to pick you up." "Yeah." Zhen Jinrao responded, then lowered her head to continue stirring the coffee, not knowing what she was thinking. Seeing that she didn't say anything, Cai Hongming buried his head in drinking juice. It is actually very pleasant to face an intellectual beauty this morning. To be continued. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.